All right, we are live. Welcome. If this is the first time you're joining me and you're watching this at a later time, this is a live broadcast of Apple earnings. And if you want to fast forward to actually hear the earnings call, you're more than welcome to. But if you wait around and enjoy your time, you can see this beautiful show play out. At 4 o'clock, after market bell closes, we will get the Apple earnings. And then at 5 p.m. Eastern, we will get the earnings call. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me today. Oh, goodness. It's going to be another good day. We streamed yesterday for, I want to say 3.5 hours, 4 hours. I don't even remember. It was a long stream yesterday. And then we got done, right when we got done streaming, I had a 2 or 3 hour break, and then everybody in the Discord joined up and we went through a leaders list. It was absolutely phenomenal. So thank you everybody who was in there, who stayed with us, who hung out, who helped me curate this beautiful leaders list. And while we're waiting for Apple to come on out, we have about an hour to kill. We can go through my leaders list. And of course, we always can add or remove the leaders from the leaders list. So we will see as this is always changing. It's always being curated. Welcome, welcome. What's up, Smaid? What's going on, brother? It's good to see you, brother. The real question today on the poll is, will Apple close above or below that 240? That's right about where it closed. It's very highs today. So what's up, Jimmy Bright? I'm telling you, Jimmy, I think you have put in more watch time hours with this channel than anybody else I know. So big shout out to you, Jimmy. Thank you for being here. So this is the watch list that we curated yesterday. I'm really proud of this. I'm also really proud of the trades that I'm in currently. So we can go over a little bit of all those when we go through this leaders list here. And we'll just go through it right now. So CYBR, we're always looking at who has the best package software, who has the best financials in the package software. What I like about this is their EPS growth, and then of course their sales growth percentage quarter over quarter. It's been growing. I really like CYBR, and there was multiple times where you were able to get into this, multiple trend breaks here, a base breakout here. It's getting a little extended. I think it needs more time to kind of base out. I was not able to get a part of CYBR, but we'll see very soon. Of course, Meta doing some big things. They had a nice earnings debut yesterday as well. 18.71% surprise on their earning revenue. So that was awesome to see. It definitely took a lot of people by surprise as this thing shot straight up. We're sitting at 689.75 for Meta. Still a leader. Obviously can't get into something like this right now. We have to wait for it to form what I consider a base or a trend before you can get into something like this. Now, Meta is looking really good here. I do really like where Meta sits. It's just not ready to play yet. It needs to base out, create a trend, create a base. You guys hear it all the time. And here, let's turn on some lo-fi music. Just let me know if this is too loud or if it's too soft. Let me know. Then, of course, Wix is another leader in the market. We identified this. I like this basing breakout. I like their financials. You can see their EPS growth over here, and they are growing on their sales growth as well. So that's always a very good sign. And as this thing continued up higher, it came back down, retested this breakout area, and the 50-day moving average got soaked right back up. Now it's forming this base right up here at this top, and I like a base on top of base. It's talked about quite often in the William O'Neill's book. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Of course, I do want to put on my charting platform here, I want to put a alert here, so that way if it does get above this area, I can keep an eye on it. And you know what? We should put a timer up really quick, just so that way everybody knows that we are here for one thing and one thing only. But we got a lot to go over. That's going to be at 5 p.m. So it's 3. So in 2 hours, we are going to have the Apple earnings come out, of course, right after market hours. So we'll set this for 1 hour, and we'll set this for Apple earnings. So that way everybody's aware of when it's going to come out. So AAPL earnings. And we'll get this thing started, okay? That way we don't have any confusion. We know that Apple will be coming out in 1 hour. We'll get those numbers out. I see you guys sharing the love already. Thank you so much. Appreciate the subscription there. You guys are awesome. Nothing but love right back, guys. You guys are so supportive of this channel, and I want to just do the absolute best I can to bring you the best content that I can. And speaking of which, where is my background? Please play the background. Thank you. Let me get this thing set up, guys, real quick. It'll just take an hour. No big deal. I like the new background. I like the new setup. I think it's awesome. I don't know. Maybe we do something different. Maybe I get a few different ones, you know, a few different ones. But either way, Wix is going to be one of the leaders here. I do like Wix. I like the way it looks. I like the base. I didn't get a hold of this base. Of course, I would have made a small amount, but then would have been stopped out here, and then waited for this for a re-entry. And we can see, you know, it's looking good. It's looking really good. And I like these shakeout days as long as they get bought right back up. We don't want to see them lingering down here for too long. We have INTA. Got a lot of markings on this chart here, but we see a cup and a handle forming on this this INTA. I think this needs more time because it's getting loose here. This is the kind of tightness I want to see, like this day here on Wednesday the 29th. Yesterday, today it tried to break out of this area. It did not. There was a few things out there that wanted to break out. They wanted to try, but not much happened. So we'll see. Of course, I really like Root. Now, oh goodness, look at Root. Wow. This is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. I identified the leader. We have a huge basing in this area, okay? Huge basing. And it created new higher lows. It created this huge flag formation up here, real wide, very, you know, the expansion here, and then we get contraction. Very tight, RS rating of 99. This is when it rips, and it's exactly what it's doing. Now it's in a psychological area of 100. There's not a ton of resistance here, but you can see there is some. It needs to get through this 100. Now, I had my alert set for a retest of this breakout area. It did not retest, unfortunately, so I was not able to get a hold of Root, but it's okay. You cannot get a hold of all of them. I'll show you a few that I do have. So I am a part of a lot of these leaders. Root was one of my main watches, and I was not able to get a hold of this. But look at how beautiful this. If we put this on the weekly, you'll get a better understanding. Multiple times this came up and hit this area of 86, okay? And it failed. Then it broke through and created a new higher low and retested again, got tight, and broke out higher. So I still have a chance in this. What's up, Sarah? It's good to see you. I still have a chance to get in Root, but it's got to, I mean, it's really got to come back and retest. But I like Root. I've been talking about Root for about 2 weeks now, this being your leader in the market. And sure enough, it is leading in this market. You guys can see here our EPS growth right here. Actually, you can't see it, but the EPS growth has been phenomenal, and quarterly, the change percentage on its sales has been astronomical. 56, 173, 264, 287, 165, 49%. Those are the percentages that you're looking at for leaders. And you can see right here, it did an enormous push. I really, really like the look of this. Just off this base here, you can see it pushed as high as 15% already. That's big money. That's big money. Since today, you know, I just sold DEC, I only made 4.89% on. And that took me a week of being in it. So DEC, you know, and I knew it was slower, but I really like the base breakout. We'll go over that soon. But this here is a much faster mover. Let's take a look at Root's ADR, shall we? So if you don't know what ADR is, it stands for average daily range. Root is 7.6% average daily range, meaning it can move 7.6% in one day on average. So you can see here on this day, it went as high as 10.87%. So it's actually right in the past 2 days, it's moving a little faster than expected. So why do you want to be in something with a higher ADR? Well, because that means the money that you are putting into it is going to move faster. And if you are a momentum breakout trader, you want to be in the faster moving stocks. Why buy something that's slow and boring? You want to make money now, then you get the average daily range percentage higher than anticipated, and you will make money quicker. So that's why I like Root, and it's unfortunate I didn't get a piece of this pie, but we still have time if it sets up again, one, or B, if it comes back and retests. That retest is very important. I've been telling you guys, those retests have been happening constantly. And I really think a retest would be pretty important for this to shake out a lot of the weak hands who are buying up here at these highs, extended, because the 10-day is all the way down here, which I'm gonna guess is like 15%. 15.35% right now. Damn, I'm good. But if this thing pulls right back on down and bounces off this breakout area, I would like to be a part of it. Rocket Lab today, I was really excited for Rocket Lab to actually get up and start going. I do hold Rocket Lab, not too proud of my price at 30, but I took it out of the base breakout right here, and we can see that it broke above this and then slammed right back down. I like it that it's retesting, but I don't like it just squatting down on here. I like to see a retest and then a bounce, not a retest and then it just kind of like trail around and hang out here. I want to see it hit it and go, get it and rip, you know? And I was saying last night as well that I think HWM, even though it's a slower mover than Rocket Lab, I think it's a much better looker than Rocket Lab, because Rocket Lab does not have this kind of growth. So HWM has been growing. It's slowing down on its sales, but its EPS growth. What is up with the yawns today? I gotta drown these yawns. Here, let me just go ahead and drown these yawns real quick. Drowned them out. Let them die. I think what it is, I've only had one energy drink today. I know, it's bad, right? But I should have bought another one before the show. I don't know, maybe make some coffee, but that's okay. I'm sure I'll wake up. Apple will wake me up when the earnings come out. Of course, we have Hood. I like Hood. This had a beautiful basing pattern here, a gap up, and then a rip tater chip, and now is just holding that 10-day moving average. This was brought to my attention by Jolene in the Discord, so shout out to you, Jolene. I was not paying attention to Hood at all, but I was when she pointed it out, because this base it formed was beautiful. And now you can see Hood really ripped up. Lots of gaps here, pulled back, riding a 10-day moving average now. It's still very strong, and it's 100% a leader in the market. Now, if you guys aren't aware, Bros had another beautiful trend breakout. Here's your base breakout on Bros, and here is your trend breakout on Bros, holding that 10-day moving average phenomenally. And we even drew this out here, actually, right here on this day. We drew this out. I said, I want to see 2 more tight days. We got one drawback, a bounce off the 21. Like you see, it's been holding very well. And then it got very tight that day. And look, it's following my arrow. It's a beautiful thing. You love to see it. You know, and I do expect this thing to continue higher, but because I'm not a part of it, because I did not get that trend breakout, I have to wait, right? I have to wait. I'm going to watch Bros. I'm going to root for my Bros, and we're going to see where it ends up going. Now, we have 50 minutes till the Apple earnings come out, and we have 2 hours until the actual call. So we're just going to go through a leaders list, and if you guys throw any tickers in the chat, I'll be happy to go over those as well. But right now, we're going over the leaders list that we did after Tesla's earnings last night. So if you missed it, I'm glad you're here. Let's continue going over our leaders list. Now we have SE, C Limited. C Limited is a retail trade, internet retail. Let me read to you exactly what they are. C Limited is an internet and mobile platform company which engages in the provisions of online gaming services. It operates through the following segments: digital entertainment, e-commerce, digital finance services. Digital entertainment segment offered develop mobile and PC online games. E-commerce is the third-party marketplace through Shopee mobile app and websites that connect buyers and sellers. The digital segment includes a variety of payment services, loans to individuals and businesses through C Money. C was founded by a gentleman's name I cannot pronounce. Its headquarters in Singapore, okay? What I loved about C is you have this cup with handle and then it breaks out. So C did a very, very nice job on this. I really like it. I did not get this. We are gonna get into the ones that I did take. I know you're hearing this over and over again. But we identify leaders. You're not gonna be able to catch every single leader. You're not gonna be able to catch every single stock, but C Limited's doing it big. And you can see here on there, well, you guys can't see it. Maybe if I'm gonna move my big head, there you go. Right here, you can see they're ramping up their sales, their percentage in sales. It went from 8% in December and it moved up to, that's a bad example, but March was 5%. Now it's at 22%. Right now, this March is at 28%. So it's been growing. It's very good revenue growth. That's what you like to see in leaders. You want to see at least 25% quarter over quarter or year over year financially. So when I do financials, I'm not looking too deep. I'm not, I'm not diving so deep into it. All I'm looking for is sales growth, EPS growth, year over year and quarter over quarter. It's super simple, guys, okay? So I like C. We identified the cup and handle, and we can see that it's starting to break out. Zamora is in the building. Zamora. It's good to have you, Zamora. Thank you for joining. Next up, we have Reddit. Now, I did take Reddit. I'm still in Reddit, and today was a red, well, you can't really call it a red, well, yeah, technically it's a red day for Reddit. We had a basing pattern right here. I talked to you guys about this, and I've been focusing on Reddit for about 3 weeks now, waiting for my opportunity to take, and we took Reddit. And now, here's the great thing about Reddit, guys. Huge base, and it has a new higher low that has formed before it broke out, and then when it did that very clean. Now, that it is extended from that 10-day moving average. If it pulls back like it did today, guys, my hands, I could care less. I'll just show you. Here's RDDT. Here's where we took it. I made my stop loss nice and deep in case something happened. Of course, I'm going to be using the 30-day moving average because this is where it's found support. Okay, so my stop loss, I can move it right up here, and I'll continue to move it up. I just left it down there because it's a oopsie stop loss. Like, totally forgot to look at it the night before. Okay, so we're in Reddit. It looks beautiful. We're up about $181 on this, so nothing too crazy. Today we're down 34. Absolutely nothing. We're down 34 bucks. We're up wildly on this stock, and I'm holding it for a longer run because this is a very nice 5 to 6 week base. I'm expecting this base to continue much higher for a long duration. Okay, so as you guys can see, the last time it came off of its earnings, it came before it started basing out. It went up over 100%. Over 100%. Am I expecting another 100% move? Well, if we do get another 100% move, I will probably exit all of my position, okay? I'm gonna wait until it breaks below this 21-day moving average. So right now, I have not taken any money off. I don't plan on taking any money off because I think we're gonna get a very nice move. Right now, the highest it went was 15%. It's sitting 9%, so I'm 9% in the money on my shares here. So it's looking good. Now, DEC I did sell today, okay? And I'll tell you guys why. We have earnings in the after hours. And speaking of earnings, I need to go back to Reddit. So Reddit's earnings aren't until the 12th of February. So that's a good sign. I can hold on to those for a while. What's up, Yosef? It's good to see you, brother. I'm glad you're here, Yosef. You were part of the leaders list last night, brother. So is Zamora, Jimmy, I mean, the gang. You guys are awesome. So very supportive. So very supportive. What's Daniel doing? Is he not in here? What the hell? So we got DEC. I decided to sell DEC. We have earnings in the after hours today. So I do not hold through earnings, as you guys know. If I do play earnings, it's always, either a gamble or for funsies or a stink bid. I don't actually play earnings. Yesterday, we played Tesla's earnings. We bought 1 share of Tesla. We were down 15 bucks. We were up 15 bucks. I sold today. I made $12 on it. So it was for fun. It was literally for entertainment, for YouTube. DEC. I held quite a few shares. I made 4.89% on this, so nothing crazy, but we made 4.89% on this, so it's a win. I'm taking it home. I was honestly hoping that DEC would really take off before we got to earnings. So I took it here and I gave it, the 5-6 days that I was in it, and it didn't do much of anything. So it just kind of traded sideways. I'm glad to see the last 3 days it really got up off at least that base so I could make some money. So I'll take 4.89%, and I'm not going to gamble on earnings. Obviously, I'll wish that I held if it goes higher, and I'll wish that I sold if it went lower. Zamora says XYZ, and then we'll come back to this. Yeah, look at that beautiful base or trend breakout. We talked about this last night, Zamora, about how this could possibly be entering that stage 2 uptrend, and the break of this trend line would confirm a possible start of that stage 2 uptrend. Did you take this, Zamora? I hope you did, because we did a really good analysis on this last night. As this thing created new higher lows, you can see here's a low, here's a new higher low, and then obviously we have this trend pattern here and a breakout. So I hope you got it. I really hope you took a piece of it. Even if it was a small share size, it'd be kind of nice to hear that you took XYZ. And you know what's funny? Excuse me. What's funny is when I'm talking about a stock, if I'm saying, oh yeah, so-and-so says XYZ, I use XYZ as just like a random random stock. But there's actually an XYZ. So now I kind of got to be careful with saying, oh yeah, XYZ went up yesterday. No, XYZ is actually a stock, so I can't just use that as a fallible joke. So XYZ does look good. Zamora, did you take XYZ? You need to answer me, girl. Girl. You need to answer, girl. I want to know so I can root for you. But yeah, we talked about XYZ last night. We talked about it does have sales growth. It does have EPS growth. I would like to see the sales growth go higher than this. It looks like it's actually kind of slowing its sales growth from last December to December. It grew, but September to September, it has shrank. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I think this could be a start of a stage 2 uptrend. I don't think it's necessarily a leader in the market right now. So we'll see what happens there. Of course, we have APP, and I've been holding APP for a while now. Earnings are coming out. It looks like February 12th. So I still have about 12 days of holding on to this. I was really hoping to see this thing really take off. I really expected this thing to really take off. Right now, I mean, it's in a good position. I can't argue with it. I would like to see this thing continue, obviously, because I have a formidable share size in it. But you can see its EPS growth and its sales growth is looking really, really good. Someone in the group did, though. Who took it? Who took XYZ? I'll ask Discord right now. Let's see, my daughter's sending you hearts. Yes, I'll send them right back. It's nothing but love in this chat room. Thank you so much, Zamora's sweet daughter. Hi. Hi. Where's my camera? There we go. Hi. It's good to see you. Thank you for sending me all those hearts. Nothing but love. Nothing but love. Make sure you guys vote on the poll, too, if you haven't already. We already got 10 votes in here. But will Apple close above that 240 or below? Let's go over the rest of these leaders. I have 6 more leaders, and then we'll check in on Apple since we have in 40 minutes those Apple earnings come out. Now remember guys as well, when it comes to Apple, look how big Apple is. Apple is a boat. Right here you can see Apple is an absolute boat. It's been trading pretty much flat today. This being such a big boat, you're gonna see this move the market, okay? You're gonna see the market be characterized by Apple's earnings. You're gonna see a lot of volatility in the market once the earnings come out. You're gonna see it, it's gonna happen. If Apple goes down, the market goes down. If Apple goes up, the market goes up, okay? Now, what's beautiful about this is NVIDIA and Microsoft are pulling back, and pulling back hard. Microsoft did today, 6%. That's a big pullback. Obviously, their earnings did well, and we've seen them go higher, and then they just got tanked apparently today. Let's take a look at Microsoft, and we'll come back to our leaders list. Look at this, guys. Wow. So they did not do very well on their earnings. I take that back. They got really smacked down, and you can see it needs to hold this new higher low, because if it doesn't hold this area right here, then it's going to be considered a possible stage 4 downtrend. And it is below a 200-day moving average, which is not a good sign, because if we look at NVIDIA as well, another big boat below, well, trying to stay just above that 200-day moving average. And you know, we have a mob of diehard investors that love NVIDIA that are probably going to go down with the boat. It's sad to see it happen, but that's just what happens. You know, they didn't care about it down here. They didn't care about it at the $500 break. They didn't care about it at the base break. And then they finally get into it here. They get stopped out. They hold on to it. They make a little bit of money, and then they're just going to hold on to it till it goes back down to, who knows, 70 before it finds support, 100 maybe, let's say 100. It has a magnet at 100, and maybe it just trades sideways for the next year. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but what I do know is there is a mob of investors who will get sold off into constantly, or maybe this creates a new higher low and it continues its uptrend, but we'll see. It needs to hold this area. It needs to hold this 117. It needs to hold its 200-day moving average. All right. So MSoft not looking good. NVIDIA not looking good. Meta's still looking amazing though. Okay. If we're talking Mag 7. And that brings me to my next one is Google. So GOOGL, I've been talking about Google for quite some time now. This is your cup. This is your handle. This handle has now turned into a basing trend pattern. Here's your ascending trend line into a very nice area, but it's not getting tight yet. We just keep hitting this basing top, which we could even move this up. I like this base breakout right here, but you can see this is the basing top. This is where I consider the base breakout at, but you can see every time it comes down, it creates a new higher low. I am in Google. Let's see what we're up really quick. We identified this as a leader all the way back here because the market was failing and Google didn't even know. Google had no idea the market was having a hard time. We're up 180 bucks in this right now. So, you know, it's looking good. It's just, you know, small little investment here. Now, earnings are coming out on the 4th of next month. So unfortunately, I'm probably just going to have to sell out of this because I can't hold this through earnings. Today might be a good day to do it because we are at that area of resistance. And, you know, it sucks because earnings ruins everything, you know. And I think what I'll do right now while I'm in front of you guys is I'm just going to take this. I'm going to take this. We're going to sell this right now. Let's see, what's the bid and ask? So, okay, so I can just sell the market and it will get me out. So I have 20 shares of this. That'll free up some money. So we have now sold out of our Google. Oops. Oh, that's why. Excuse me. Sorry for being silly. I got to get rid of my stop order loss first. There we go. Now we are all out of Google. This probably will take off now that I sold it. But because earnings is coming up on the 4th, I decided to sell into strength at these highs here. So we sold out of 2 of our stocks today. We sold out of DEC and we sold out of Google. That's another 4.68% win for me. So let's see. Is there a fake David? Yes. Yes. I will never reach out to you. Report anyone who has. What's up, Truffle? Truffle, join up. All right. So I just sold out of Google. I need to put that in there. What did I say that win was, guys? 4.86. Let's see here. 4.8%. All right, so we had 2 wins today, 2 closed trades. We had one on deck, 4.89%, and Google, 4.8%. So nothing too crazy. You know, I like those 20% wins, but we are all out simply because we are at this area of resistance. I decided to sell out of this and make a little bit of money because we do have earnings coming up. Now, if I was a gambling man, I would hold this through earnings and expect this thing to rip, tater, chip, because of the new higher lows, because of the basing breakout, because of all that. But because of my rules and because we are at these highs, I might as well sell it here at these highs with a 4.8% win. So I'm happy with it. JP says, Google fire. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. We have about 34 minutes till Apple is going to release those earnings. I hope you guys are ready and willing. Truffle says he's at school. Well, good for you. Good for you, brother. All right, let's go back to the leaderboards. I added AXGN to the leaderboards. I really like the percentage change growth and the EPS growth on the quarter, and it's looking really good. What else I like about this too is it looks like it's really starting to set up here. So if we look at AXGN, you can see this basing breakout here, a retest. Then we had a big push up. We have this another either a base forming here or a trend. You can see this 2 different ways. It really all depends on who you are and how you play. If you're looking at this as a trend, we're going to want to see some inside days here. But I rather see this. I much rather see this because I'm getting more and more fond of basing breakouts. I would like to see this do something like this where we get in here and get really tight before breaking out and heading to the north side. So that's just kind of my my thought on that. We need to give it some more time. I think I have an alert already set on AXGN. Let me just double check here. So I'm just going to set my alert right here at 19. If this thing breaks out at 19, I want to know about it. Another thing I really like too on AXGN, if we look at this most recent push, huge volume push. And all of this trading sideways, you can see this is the volume contraction pattern, or VCP, where it starts to lose all of its volume. Okay, that's really good. That's really good for a stock. It's really good to see when we see it trading sideways and the volume just start to sell off. That means there's nobody to sell. Nobody's selling this stock up here. Okay, and when it starts to break out once again, we should see more of the buying volume coming in. So that's a really good look. That's the Mark Minervini's volume contraction pattern. Now, I'd like to see it over a longer span of time, but that's just a good example to kind of give you. BTSG, this is another health stock, very extended here. You know, you can see it. It's just going straight up on the weekly. But if we look at this thing on the daily, you can see it's just really gotten up here and it's really not calmed down. What I like about it is we are getting that sales growth of 26% quarter over quarter. So that's really nice to see. Really, really nice to see that. We want to see it continuing, okay? But there is no trade on this. There's no play. There's nothing you can do right now. If you bought at these all-time highs, it's going to correct at some point. When is it going to correct? I don't know. I don't know when it's going to correct, and I really hope that it does correct, so that way it gives me an opportunity for it to set up a base or a trend breakout, so that way I can get into it as well. We also have NET. The earnings and sales growth look very, very good. We're getting over 25% on that quarterly sales growth. So I like to see NET. This is your information technology and technology sales services. So we'll see what happens there. AS is a good one too. So this is what I really like to see here. It's a newer IPO. Let's just show you that. It's a newer IPO. It came out in February of last year. So it's almost a year old. And this thing is just screaming right now. It's screaming. Had a beautiful basing pattern, and then earnings came out, and this thing just has not looked back. It's using this 21-day moving average as its area of support. So we're going to see if it wants to continue higher. It really does look like it wants to continue higher. Wow, what a leader. I really hope this gives us an opportunity to get in, because I think there's a lot more to this, honestly. Now that it's actually earning money and it has, you know, good sales and stuff, the fact that what they're selling is like sports equipment and sports apparel, they're based out of, I think it was Finland. Yeah, Finland. And that means that they have so much more room to grow. You know, they can expand into America and China and all these other places. If they're doing so good just in Finland, you know, I do hope that they can expand, but I don't hope that they do it too fast where I'm not able to get in. So another one is RBRK. RBRK was a pretty beautiful looking cup. I want to see that handle. What I like about RBRK is the EPS growth, 74%, and the sales growth is well over 25% right now. So it's a very, very good look. Alrighty. Let's head over to Apple and see how Apple's doing. AAPL. We have about 28 minutes, guys, 28 minutes, and we're going to see what happens with Apple. A good thing about Apple is you have this basing area that was going to act as resistance. And it blew through that resistance. It blew right through that resistance, and now will it act as support? That's the question. The last time we came down, this huge sell-off here, you know, Warren Buffett was actually, Warren Buffett was selling this into strength here. This huge sell-off though, wow, what a sell-off. That was absolutely crazy to see that kind of sell-off in this stock, this big boat. But with that being said, you know, are they done selling it off? Are they going to buy it back up? Or is Apple done? You know, they had their latest earnings and sales growth looked good. Everything looked fine. This one, actually, I should probably look at this one right here. Let's see. So this last one had good revenue, but it did not have good earnings. On my chart here for quarter over quarter, though, it does look like they did okay in January of 2025. Why is it saying 2025? Oh, I don't know. That's coming out today. So we will see what happens there. I'm questioning my my block here, my little border here. But this is Apple. This is exactly, you know, this is what we're here for, because this thing will move the market. You know, we have a huge boat. Look at this is the all of the S&P 500. This whole thing right here, okay? And Apple takes up a big chunk of it. You guys can't see it because my big head's in the way. Here, I'll just show you like this. Get rid of this. Here's Apple. This is the S&P 500. This is Apple. Look how big Apple is compared to the rest of this. It's amazing. It's amazing how big this thing is. So just keep that in mind. When Apple moves, the market moves. There was a question in the Discord. Busy with school and work. Okay, Truffle. Do you know why DeepSeek had an effect on the market, both crypto and stocks? I understand it's some new powerful AI tool, but why would that have such a big effect on things outside of the tech sector? Or it was even just DeepSeek, but it seemed to be the same day of the big news. Yeah, well, you know, I'm not going to type all that back out to you, Truffle. That's why I told you just to join the chat. But for anybody that doesn't realize, when DeepSeek came out, it's showing that DeepSeek can do what we are trying to do with far less money. Far less money, far less energy, and it's almost as efficient, right? And that's arguable because the data is coming out of China, you know. Dan always says, you know, it's the Temu of AI, you know, the Temu of AI. Well, the issue with it being the Temu of AI is Temu is kicking ass. Temu is doing very, very well. You know, everybody knows what Temu is. Well, everybody knows what DeepSeek is because it's shaking up our markets. You know, it's really shaking up our markets. Even if half of what they say is true, you know, that just goes to show that we're behind. You know, we are very behind in the technology. So if they're able to do what they did, we are very far behind and we have a lot of catching up to do. Before those earnings come out, we have, let's see. I want to bring up a few things here, so bear with me. We're going to go ahead. I'm just going to show you guys how I do this. And if you've been with me at all, you know exactly how I do this. But we want to know who the leaders are in this market, right? And we went through those leaders. I identified a ton of those leaders. What I do is I go to the screener here. And we can use the descriptive, the fundamental, the technicals, all of this good stuff, right? So when I look through this, if we want to look at different sectors, we have all of these different sectors, and we can scan to see who the best of each sector is, right? We can even go to the industry and really hone in on what industry we're talking about, okay? So we had a question today, who is the leader in the chip sector? So here's the semiconductors. If we click semiconductors, it's going to reduce, let's just do this. I want to show you this. We go from having almost 10,000 stocks. We're talking 9,862 stocks. We go to the industry here and we scroll down to semiconductors, QRS, semiconductors. We're down to 66 stocks. Okay, simple. Now let's do this. Let's come over here to the fundamentals and let's just do this. EPS growth next 5 years. Let's just do over 25%. Now we're down to 5 stocks, okay? Earnings, EPS growth, 25%. We're gonna go back to ending, we'll go to sales growth and see if we get a few more, okay? Over 25%. Okay, we got 14 stocks. A-Lab, AMD, CRDO, ICG, LAES, you see it. NVIDIA's on here too, okay? Now, what's really cool about this is if we can click charts here and we can go through each and every one of these. And if we look at the chips specifically, and we just go through this, you can see A-Lab, huge drop off. AMD, it's been a lagger, completely failing. CRDO, big drop off, trying to hold this uptrend. ICG, completely failing. LAES, completely failing, almost a penny stock again. MPWR, well below its moving averages, not looking good. MXL, you guys get my drift here? NVIDIA is probably the best looking one out of all of these. But still, the sector as a whole looks like garbage. So when you say, well, who's the leader? My theory is who is who is the least beaten down? And right now, by looking at this, I would say NVIDIA. I would say NVIDIA is the least beat down out of all of these. It's still pretty beat. Oh, see, now I was looking at this. It's actually way down here. So I take that back. NVIDIA is very well beaten down. Yeah, I mean, they're all below a 200-day moving average. I just, I don't like it. I don't like it. So it's not, who's the leader in the chip sector. It's who is the least beaten down in the chip sector, because nobody's leading in this chip sector, And, I know there's a couple in our Discord that are mad at me for saying things like this because you're married to certain stocks and stuff like that, but you got to get over it or you're going to lose money. I've been there where why isn't it going up? It used to be a leader. It should bounce back. It should this, it's that. I'm telling you, wait for the right times. Wait for the right times. So let's go back to descriptive. We're going to leave those fundamentals on here. And let's look at something else. Let's look at, what do you guys want? Let's do steel. Here's CLF beaten down. Here's MSB beaten down. FRD beaten down. What do you guys want to see? Let me know in the chat. Here's uranium. Let's see how uranium's doing. We have UEC still below these moving averages. Let's see, below a 200-day moving average, we don't want to even look at it if it's there. Below a 50-day moving average, we want it to be at least above that, okay? So uranium, our best one is UROY. It looks like it's above both of those moving averages, and we have a trend that it could possibly break, but it's still not looking that good, all right? Let's see what else we got here. And we are here for Apple earnings. It's going to start in 20 minutes, guys. Apple earnings starts in 20 minutes. Right now, we're just kind of going through. We're looking for the best of the best stocks. We're looking for anything with a sales growth of over 25%. Here's aerospace and defense. Now, this is what I wanted to see. So we have AXON. Now, I'm going to bring these up on this chart right here so you guys can see them a little bit easier. I think it's important. AXON. This is one that I kind of skimmed over, but I did not add to the leaderboards list. And you know, the EPS growth is looking very good. The sales growth is also looking very good. So I want to put AXON on my watch list. I also want to look at AXON to see the average daily range percentage. Now it's only 3.1%. It's definitely a much slower percentage, much slower. Okay, so we do want to keep that in mind too. We want to put our money in the best and fastest stocks. We have BYRN. That thing's looking really good. I like BYRN. Let's see how many stocks we have. 17 in total. So we need to look at BYRN now. BYRN. So here's BYRN. This is beautiful, and it moved 6.7%. Now this could be a winner right here. The issue is earnings is coming out on the 7th. So just like I had to with DEC, just like I had to do with Google, we sold those today for nice wins, 4.8%. If I take BYRN, I'm going to have to sell before the 7th of next month because I do not play earnings. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If you're looking at a stock like BYRN, I am going to put this on our leaders list, BYRN, because it is a leader right now in the aerospace and defense. So I'm going to put that up here with Rocket Lab and HWM. It's much faster than HWM, and I think it looks better personally than Rocket Lab currently. You know, I like this basing breakout better than I do Rocket Labs. And I own Rocket Lab. Don't get me wrong, guys. Don't get me wrong. I go in without a biasy. You know, I don't have a biasy on any stock. I just want it to make money. If it's not making me money, guess what? I don't care. I'm not married to any stock, okay? So just gonna continue to look at some of these aerospace defense leaders. RDW and Rocket Lab. So these are both looking phenomenal. One thing I haven't looked at was RDW. So let me bring RDW up. Here's RDW. We're seeing sales growth. I don't care for the EPS growth on this. And it's looking a little wide and choppy here. Let me bring this up on here, RDW. 12%, 12%. So that's really nice. Really nice. I definitely want to put this on the leaderboards lists, RDW, and we'll put this with the rest of them here. And this is how I do it, guys. I mean, I will go through everybody's charts, everybody's tickers, and find the leaders that way. I'll also go through Twitter and some of my favorite people that are on Twitter. I will see what they're watching, and if it meets my criteria, then I will go ahead and put it on my watch list. But obviously, I don't just buy blindly. I don't just trust anybody else's judgment. I do it all for myself, okay? So right now, we added a few aerospace and defense because we know that is a hot sector. Let's see what else we got here. Airlines. I know airlines were hot for a little bit. Let's see who is earning money. VLRS. We only have 4 stocks here in the airlines that look like they're earning 25% on their money quarterly over quarterly, and that is these 4. VLRS probably looks the best in my opinion. We can go ahead and pull VLRS over here. Take a look at it on Better Charting System, which if you guys want this charting system, just check it out in my description. See, and I still don't like this. The relative strength's too low, and you know, it's just kind of sitting here. Now we have Apple earnings coming up, guys, in 16 minutes. So do not fret, do not be afraid. I will make sure that you get paid. 15 minutes left on Apple earnings. We're just going through a leaders list. We're trying to find the best of the best in the leaders. So if you think that you know of a hot sector that I haven't looked at already, let me know. We're going through it all, but we have 15 minutes until those Apple earnings are getting ready to come out. And also what I can do is we can bring this up here. We'll put on AAPL here. And I can do my little side charting on my own. Let me do this for you guys. Here we go. Throw it on the 1 minute, the crazy wonky 1 minute, baby. Here we go. And we'll just keep an eye on it like that. It's like this, it's like that, it's like this, Enda. All right, so we're gonna keep on going through this over here. I don't wanna take up any more of your screen so you guys can keep it on. And the earnings call will be coming out at 5, so an hour and 15 minutes. If you guys wanna hang out with me until then, please do. I appreciate your time. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe for me. We are doing it big. We're doing it every day, baby. So let's see, in chemicals, let's see. We have one stock, it's a penny stock. I'm not even gonna bring it up to you guys. We wanna look at retail. Let's look at retail. Retail. We'll have to go to the sector. We'll go down to retail right here. Ooh, that's a good one, financials. So financials have been really, really hot lately, and we want to find what the best financials are. ARES is looking really good. ATLC looks like it just broke out. And BBAR, a couple of us were already talking about not too long ago. So that's nice. BBAR, BANC, BAM, BAM. BAM's looking good. Yeah, the financial sector is just looking mean, dude. Very, very mean. And I have 12 pages right now of financial sector. Uh-oh. I sure hope I didn't freeze. Hopefully that's just this screen. That'd be really bad. There we go. All right. It looks like everything's running smooth. I think it is. Hopefully. Let me know in the chat. Yeah, let's look at Joby for sure. Let's look at Joby. JOBY. Yeah, so what I don't like about Joby is it broke this trend line. This trend line was beautiful, man. It really was. Now, we still have a basing pattern right up here, but I really wanted to see this thing kind of get tight right here. I wanted to see it get tight, and that's best case scenario. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter if it gets tight like that or not. If we still get this basing breakout at 919, that could be good. The issue I don't like about Joby in the aerospace is it's just not making money. You know, it's just a speculative stock. Like, because aerospace is doing well right now, Joby's getting attention, you know? So keep that in mind. Let's see here. Oh, I had to get rid of that. Sons of bitches. Let me bring this back up here for you guys. 12 minutes, guys, until the earnings gets released. All right. $12 minutes. We're just checking out FinViz. We're just going through some stuff today. Trying to make sure we have all the leaders and all of our ducks in line. Man, I went for a run after 2 years of not running. I went for a run. My knee is blown up. It's like the size of a grapefruit right now. It's so bad. So bad. I was in so much pain last night, man. It was ridiculous. It was not fun going to work today, walking around with a limp in the east side, the east side of Monroe. It was like, is that limping or pimping, baby? Been nicked with a few shells, but now I'll walk with a limp. All right, I'm gonna go back to the screeners here. We got 11 minutes till Apple's earnings have the opportunity to be released. I think I'll just, let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, so it looks like Apple earnings are actually going to be released at 4:30, not right at 4 o'clock. So we should add another 30 minutes to this timer. Whoops. Let me add, let's do 30, let's do 40 minutes. Sorry, guys. Sorry, we gotta wait 40 more minutes. That I get confused because at some places they'll say Apple's releasing their earnings after hours. So right away in after hours, which is going to be in 10 minutes, obviously they would be getting released, right? And then you look up after it's getting a little closer to time, and then they tell you the actual time they're getting released. So the Apple earnings will be released at 4:30, and then we will get the earnings call at 5 o'clock. So bear with me here. Oh, Saline BJJ, dude, that was awesome. It really was a good time, guys. If you guys are ever in Saline, you guys need to go out there. I went out there with my knee all messed up, JP. I did. It was pretty bad. I'll just show you the video that I took of it out there, guys. It's pretty cool. So here's my Facebook. This is Saline Jiu-Jitsu right here. Look how big and beautiful this place was, man. So pretty, so big. Had all my friends there. There's my coach. There's Brandon Burns, my buddy, and there's Saline Jiu-Jitsu right there. It was awesome, man. A big turnout for his first opening day. We were the first ones to like roll on that mat. So it was just really, really cool to see. And yeah, if you guys don't know, I love jiu-jitsu. I got to eat breakfast with Marcelo Garcia right here. The GOAT. He is the GOAT right here of jiu-jitsu. So yeah, Saline, thanks for asking, JP. Saline was absolutely amazing. Loved Saline Jiu-Jitsu. And of course, anybody out in Saline, I definitely highly suggest you go to Saline Jiu-Jitsu and check it out, even if you don't do jiu-jitsu. I say go out there, take your kids out there, get kids class going. You know, it's very important. I think it's very important for everybody to focus on something, whether it's jiu-jitsu or running or weightlifting. Do something to better yourself. But if you want to learn how to protect yourself and your family, you should do jiu-jitsu. We got 13 votes on the poll so far. It looks like above 240, 46%, and 38% say below 240. That's we're getting pretty close on those numbers there. So very interesting to see. We usually aren't very split on our poll, but today it looks like we're getting pretty split there. So make sure you vote on the poll if you haven't already. And of course, if I'm bringing you any form of entertainment or education, edumacation, please hit that like, hit that subscribe button for me. We're always trying to grow and better ourselves and this channel. And we're still going through the stock screener, guys. Still going through the stock screener. I was really surprised to see when we did the sector on the financials, just how many have a expected 25% growth over the next 5 years. Maybe we should reduce that on the fundamentals. We just do sales growth quarter over quarter. We'll do 25%. That's what we're going to do here. And we're still getting 407%. Wow. That's EPS growth. We'll do sales growth as well. Over 25%. There we go. And now we're down to 92 tickers still in the financial sector. Really? That many? Like the financials are all expected to grow that much? That's a lot to go through. We could still reduce this down easily by saying over the 50-day moving average, over the 200-day moving average. So we'll just do 50-day. Let's see. 52-week high, 200 simple. All right, here we go. 50-day simple moving average, price above simple day 50 moving average. We still have 54 tickers. You can see some of these. Here's Hood. Here's one of them. Ooh, HNNA looks like it's setting up a nice trend break. You know, you can run through them like this. That's one way of doing it. I like this ESGR. There's a lot. There's a lot in the banking sector. I always have been saying that GS, Goldman Sachs, is your leader in that sector. But there just seems to be so damn many, you know, so damn many of them. So damn many of these. All right, let's see what we got going on here now. About 34 minutes until the Apple earnings are released. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the chat. Have a good time. We're gonna have ourselves a good time today. We made a little money today. That was fun. It was enjoyable. We had a little ride. We took DEC. We sold Google. They're still leaders. We got to wait until after earnings, though, to ensure that those earnings, those leaders keep on continuing to lead. So that would be nice to see. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. Cheers. This one's for me, though. Thirsty. I'm a thirsty boy today. I did some work under a house today. Oof, yuck. Plus, I'm cold. I need to grab a blanket. 50% of you say above 240. So when we're looking at Apple, this is the 240 that I'm talking about. I think it's very important because it is an area of support. This area right here, the support's more like 236, 237, 237.50 really, if you want to be exact. So that way, that's why I think it's important, because 240 was its high today. And, you know, if it gets above 240 from its earnings, I think that's a good sign. Right now, it's a slower mover. The RS is only 71%. We're not seeing a ton of relative strength come in. It's important. It's important to have that relative strength. And this being such a big boat in the stock market, I think it's important that Apple does get up and go. And if it does get up and go, that's a good sign for the overall market. If it doesn't, then we need to see sector rotation. We really need to see sector rotation. If you guys don't know that, you know, I always look over the sector. So here's the S&P 500 creating new higher lows above all moving averages here. Above all moving averages. That's a really good sign. Okay, if you guys if you don't understand that, when we're above all these moving averages, that's a really good sign, because it can start to trend to the north side. And we are just in this channel. You know, if you look at this channel here, you can see we're just kind of bouncing in between those, but we're constantly creating new higher lows. That's a very good sign for the overall market. Okay. When we look at the IWM, you can see this is just a huge laggard. Huge laggard. I don't like to look at it at all. NASDAQ, this is your tech heavy 100 stocks in this. It just kind of chopping around here on the side, but still above all moving averages. And QQQ is your tech heavy, okay? Your NASDAQ is your top 100. Your QQQ is your tech heavy, okay? Let's take a look at Bitcoin as it's sitting at 105,239. Last night we were talking about how this is looking like a cup and handle. It could really be getting and going. And I even said it wouldn't surprise me if we opened up the charts tomorrow and this thing was sitting at 116,000. Of course, it didn't do that, but I said it wouldn't surprise me, right? This still has time, and I really think it breaking this trend here after this undercut and rally, this thing really could get going. So I think Bitcoin is going to continue higher, and it's going to do it most likely very soon. If it doesn't go up very soon, then we're probably going to see this thing start to come back down and retest that 91,000 area, $92,000 area, okay? XLK, this is the technology fund. It's going to look a lot like your QQQ. XLY, this is consumer discretionary. So consumer discretionary is looking really good. I think this is a sector that we should probably look up as well. So let me go back to my screener over here, see if we can't find you guys something good. Let's see here. Descriptive, sector, miscellaneous investment trust, metal funds. So this is consumer discretionary, consumer defense, consumer communications. I'm not finding it on here. Let's take a look at communications though. Dash, Ever, Game, NRDS, QNST, Reddit. We already talked about Reddit today. Dash looks good. Dash looks really good. EVER, GAME, NRDS, QNST, Reddit, obviously, SNAL, and TKO. So we haven't looked at TKO in a while. Let's take a look at TKO. This is in your consumer services. Beautiful basing breakout here. Slower mover, but it's got pretty good sales growth. Gotta drown these yawns out, guys. Time to wake the f up. What the hell? I think I was up till midnight studying. Because I was. I want to look at Dash. We got less than 30 minutes now. Less than 30 minutes, guys, before Apple earnings comes out. Ever looks pretty beat down here. Game. That looks like dog doo-doo. NRDS, nerds. All right, the market just closed, guys. We're going to keep a close eye on Apple in case they release these early. Let me bring up Apple here. I can do this side charting on my own. We're going to keep Apple up right here so that way nobody misses or skips a beat. Right now, we closed the day at 237.57. So we'll see what Apple wants to do here very, very soon. We have about 30 more minutes until they release their earnings. We will know. We'll see the volatility for sure. And then I will drop the numbers. We'll put them up in the scroll bar at the very top. So give this some time, guys. 28 minutes until Apple earnings will get released. And don't you worry, we will have them right here just for you. Equity markets higher ahead of Apple earnings. Amazon raises its ad spending on Elon Musk's X in major reversal update. That's very interesting to hear. I think X is getting better and better and better, especially with Grok. Guys, something I want to tell you about when it comes to AI, I think you guys will think this is kind of cool. So I do general maintenance for a pretty cool company. These guys I work for in this local area, they have quite a few units, and there's a lot of maintenance that gets done in this Monroe area. And first of all, these guys are awesome to work for. I've never worked for a better group of guys. Of course, it's only my 4th or 5th week, but I really like working for them. They all seem pretty cool. But when I'm out there working, there's a lot of things that I haven't worked with yet. And one of them is like a boiler system, a water boiler system. Never came across one of those. Never been in a house that's had one. Or if I did, I was unaware. And I did not know how to fix this thing. I could tell it was working. It was half working. It was really dirty. So I cleaned it all up. And I decided, hey, well, what else can I do to fix this? This girl's got a baby here. The HVAC guy said, you know, it'll fix itself. I knew that wasn't the right answer and left her high and dry, or more like cold and wet, right? And so I used Grok. I took a picture of the boiler system. I took a picture of the radiating furnace boiler system and put it into Grok, and I said, please give me some reasons why parts of the system are warm, parts are cold, and how to fix it. And it gave me a list, and I cleaned it all out and stuff, like it said. And then it also said to release the air that's in the system. And it made complete sense, because if there's pockets of air in it, those air pockets aren't going to be warm when you're trying to heat water up and run them through the fins to have radiant heat. And so that's what I did. I did exactly what it said. That's told me where it was. I took a screw, I loosened it up, I released some of that air, and voila. The next thing I know, this thing is heating up. The next day, furnace. There was a furnace that was busted. I asked Grok to give me a step-by-step what I should do in order to alleviate the situation and get this furnace running. And I did. I got it all figured out. And I learned so much about it, because if you guys think if AI is telling you what to do and how to do it, you're doing a step-by-step procedure and you're reading about it, then you're doing it. So it's creating two neurons, they make a connection, that's a memory. And when that happens, you remember, you don't have to use it as much. So I am using AI, I'm using Grok, and I'm using that on Twitter, and I think it's really cool. So it's kind of cool also seeing that he's getting some news where Amazon raises its ad spending on Elon Musk's X in major reversal. So that's kind of cool. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, okay, so we were looking at the communication and the earnings on the communications, and let's see if we can get some of the latest news on Apple, shall we? So let me go ahead and do that. So I'll just use Grok right in front of you guys. So we'll go to Grok. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe for me. Let's ask Grok, what is the latest news on Apple. And I can just read it to you. That simple. How about that? That's what I do, baby. We keep it simple, we keep it funky, and we keep it fresh on the show. All right. Apple stock performance. Apple stock performance today, 239, with a slight increase of 0.5% for the day. However, based on more recent data, it's down 0.69% today with the current price of 237.7. Oh, yep, that's pretty spot on. Software updates and AI features. Apple has released iOS 18.3, which includes updates to its Apple Intelligence features. Notably, Apple has temporarily suspended the notification summaries for news and entertainment apps due to inaccuracies in AI-generated summaries. This decision comes after several instances where the AI features misrepresents news headlines, causing confusion and misinformation are made. Product announcements. Apple is planning to launch over 20 new products before the end of 2025, including new iPhones, iPads, and updates to its smart home ecosystem. This includes the iPhone SE, new MacBook Air models with the M4 chips, and potential AI-related hardware and software integrations. Market and analysis insights. Apple stock has faced some downgrades due to concerns about weakening iPhone sales, particularly in China, where shipments have significantly dropped. Analysts from Jefferies and Loop Capital have downgraded Apple's rating, citing the sales decline and broader consumption demand issues. Corporate governance. There's also news regarding executive compensation, with CEO Tim Cook receiving an 18% pay increase in 2024, bringing his total to $74.6 million. Can you guys believe that? You're already making a ridiculous amount of money, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna need about 18% more. You're gonna have to give me about 18% more. These millions and millions just is not doing it. What's up, B. Stewie? What's going on? Smaid says, why is NVIDIA going up? Well, that's a good question. Why don't we go take a look? NVDA. Load up on NVIDIA. AI stocks. Well, cheaper market it's not going up. I mean, it did today. It went up a little bit. Let's take a look. Look at the hourly. Yeah, I mean, it's just bouncing around here. It's creating new higher lows, but it's not doing anything crazy. It was below the 200-day moving average today. I'm done looking at NVIDIA for a little while, guys. I really am. It's not, it's not the best look, It might, some people are buying this dip. Go for it. That's what I say. Go for it. Buy the dip. Enjoy it. Enjoy your stay in NVIDIA. Me personally, I'm going to have to give it time. It's not a leader. It's not leading. I could give a shit less about NVIDIA. Corporate governance. Oh, but I didn't mean to put it that way. I care if you care, right? And if it's gone up, hey, and you made some money, congrats. But NVIDIA, on a 1 minute time frame is going up. On a daily time frame, it really shit the bed. So you got to be careful with those. You got to be really careful with the chip stocks right now. I think it's over, but we'll see. Earnings and market, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. X suggests that the market is awaiting Apple's upcoming earnings report. That is today. Welcome. Let's see. With discussion around the impact of AI on Apple's future, along with news about competitors and the broader tech market environment. So, you got to understand, Apple isn't always the first to bring the new tech out, but they do seem a little behind in AI. Everybody's came out with some form of AI, and it just seems like Apple is not really coming out with that, So let's ask Grok to make me an image of an apple being smashed by AI. Let's see what it gives us. So real time, Apple getting smashed by AI because it can't even create AI. Okay, this is interesting. I should have made this the I should have made this our thumbnail. That's pretty cool. Just Joe, the VIX posted a tradable bottom today. So my guess is that Apple sells off from the earnings news. Target of 218. Hey, good for you, man. Calls are way too expensive to play. B Stewie, yeah, we got 20 minutes and it's coming out. This right here would have been a really good one for the thumbnail, wouldn't it? But I like using Grok, guys. I was just saying, you know, using Grok at work, I mean, it's a game changer, man. If you're not using Grok for your job, it's really is a game changer. It really is. So we have the Apple financial results, the Q1 for 2025. They're going to drop that data in 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes. So I'm glad you have joined me. If I bring you any sort of entertainment or bring you any sort of edumacation, make sure you hit that like and subscribe, guys. We do this big. We do it big. We bring you the best of the best. And of course, after the earnings come out at 5 p.m. Eastern, which is in about 50 minutes, we will have the earnings call. So in 18 minutes, we have the earnings dropping. So make sure that you stay for the earnings because this Apple is a big boat in the stock market, okay? It's a big boat. If you guys aren't aware of it, let me just show you on the stock heat map. This is the S&P 500. This is what I use and a lot of hedge funds use to calculate the overall market. And when you look at something like this and Apple takes up this majority of it, it will move the market. It's very, very important that we see and understand the overall earnings consumption when it comes in. Because if Apple goes down, the market goes down. If Apple goes up, the market goes up. It's that simple, guys. Now, I just had Smaid said, check Intel. We can check Intel. INTL while we're waiting. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh boy, what am I doing? Really messing that up. We'll leave Apple up right here. We'll bring up Intel right here, guys. We'll bring up a little Intel right here. INTC, that's what it is. Why am I looking at this? Why am I looking at this piece of shit stock? Smaid. This is on the daily time frame. Look at this. This is a piece of shit. It's well below a 200-day moving average, and it looks like it's getting ready to break this bottom. Like, I don't bottom fish. I don't look at this. I'm looking at leaders, dude. So let's not look at Intel. Intel's garbage, dude. Do not look at Intel. You just hurt my eyes, bro. You're fired. Smaid, you're fired, dude. B Stewie says, hit that like button. Yes, sir. Hit that like button, baby. Smash it. Elbow drop it. Do what you got to do, but just do it right. Meow. We got 17 minutes till Apple earnings comes out, and we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about. The issue with Apple stocks, not only is it getting downgraded, but if we zoom out here and we look at the overall Apple's trend, that's my biggest issue here, guys. Apple's trend, this is not a good look. Look at this trend here. If we look at Apple's trend, it's bouncing off the 200-day moving average, sure. But what do we have just above that? This huge pocket of resistance right here. This is a huge area of resistance. It needs to stay above this area. It really does, because if it does not stay above this area is going to be considered resistance, and this could enter what I consider a stage 4 downtrend. Now, I don't want that. Trust me, I don't want that for Apple at all. I do not want that for Apple at all. But it very well could happen. Just Joe, the cheapest day trade for tomorrow, and it's actually a 3-week trade, is Tesla, Killer, TSLS. We use TSLL in our chat room. If the February expirations on TSLS $8 call go down to 10 cents or less, it's a potential 8x trade. Goodness gracious, brother. I hope you're using stop losses and technical analysis on this, Just Joe. But best of luck to you, brother. I don't day trade here. I'm a swing trader, momentum swing trader. We use trend and base breakouts. If you want a few examples, I'd be happy to show you, but we do not play options here. I know a lot of you do. I know a lot of you that come in here to watch this show do options. I said do. And the reason why is because you can leverage your money, but I don't need the leverage. I have a sizable account. I don't want the leverage. I just hate time decay. I do not like that time decay in options. When I get in and I want to get out, I do that regardless, and I never use options. I've done a few options trade, and I can honestly say I've made my money on options. I've made my money on options. I'm very happy to make that money on options, but I don't ever want to do it again. I don't. It's not fun. All of a sudden you're not making as much money, but the stock's going up because they're dinging you for time decay. It's silly. It's not for me. But of course, keep in mind this red line right here. We want to keep in mind this red line because I'm going to get rid of this daily chart. We want to see this hold. You can see it's held once, twice. Will it hold this third time? Regardless, when these earnings come out, you're going to see whether or not it wants. If it doesn't want to, you're going to see it. The market will do whatever the hell it wants to when this thing comes out. I think Apple really needs to hold this area though, so we'll see. We got about 14 minutes left, guys. 14 minutes until the earnings come out. If you guys weren't with us last night, it was absolutely beautiful. We did a very deep dive into the overall market, and right here I have my leaders list right here if anybody's interested. Let me just switch it to the leaders list. We came across quite a few different leaders. CYBR, Meta, Wix, INTA, Root was a beautiful one. B. Stewie, did you see Root's breakout today? That was absolutely beautiful. I wanted to retest in Root. I wanted it to come back down and retest that area, but it did not. We have 13 minutes till the Apple earnings come out, but look at Root, guys. This is absolutely beautiful. This is your basing breakout trade, and you can see Root went all the way up to that psychological $100 area before pulling back. This is what you like to see. New higher lows, huge, beautiful EPS and sales growth. That's what you want to see. That is exactly what you want to see on this. And sure enough, this thing continued to rip tater chip. I seen that you brought up the VIX volatility index. I definitely want to take a look at that. And that's nice to see. VIX back down here to the 1583. It's nice to see that. Yeah, a lot on our list did well. Absolutely. Yeah, we had a lot on here. I did sell DEC today because we have the earnings coming out today after the market. So I sold that for a 4.8% win. I also sold Google today. That was another 4.89% win. I sold it right into strength, right here at this top, because in 4 days we have earnings. So I told myself I might as well sell at the top, since I bought the basing breakout, or actually I bought this trend breakout all the way down here at 189. So that looked really nice. I was happy to take it. It might continue to climb until then, but we'll see. But of course, in 12 minutes, we have the Apple earnings coming out. And don't worry, we have the Apple financial Q1 for 2025, the earnings call. We will be right here, right meow, ready to go. So let's see. Let's see. Wow, sold Google. I had a few winners today. Blah, blah, blah. Can't say that on the chat. Let's see. Swolzenberg, I hope you're in the chat with us right now. I can't read your text and try to entertain a show, so I hope you guys understand that. I'm sure you do completely. But yes, 11 minutes, guys. We're sitting here waiting. I think I'm going to unplug. I wish I could stand up, but my knee is exploded. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go grab a beer. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a good day today, guys. I promise you that. Apple earnings, it's going to move the market. Which direction, nobody knows, but I promise you this. It will be volatile. I've never seen an Apple earnings where it was boring or slow. We want to make sure that we are ready. It's why we have our mental stop losses set, because in the after hours, you aren't going to have any stop losses to save your ass. So if Apple drags the market down and we see all of our other stocks blowing through our stop loss like AVGO did to me last week, wow, that was a big pain in my rumpus room. That Apple, when it ripped down, man, oh man, or not Apple, when AVGO ripped down, that really hurt. Took a 7% loss in the account. Now I'm happy to say this week, I've made the majority of that back. And if you're any kind of trader, you have went through ups and downs. If you haven't went through these ups and downs, if you haven't taken a loss like that, then you haven't been trading for very long. Of course, I had my stop loss set so I wouldn't lose more than 1% of my account, but sure enough, it ripped through all of the stop losses because of DeepSeek, because DeepSeek came out and said, hey, look at me, we can do it better, cheaper, faster, stronger, and we're in China. It hurt, and it hurt bad. But that's A-okay, man. That's part of trading, and we've already made the majority of that back, taking small base hits in your leaders. Now, I wish I could have let Google continue to run, but because earnings is coming out in 4 days, you know, it is what it is. DAC has earnings actually right now. DAC has earnings. I'd like to see what that has to say. Oh, and look at that. This is exactly why we don't play earnings, folks. I sold DAC at 223. DAC is now trading at 193. If I would have held that, it would have been a loss. That's a great example of why we do not play earnings. We wait until after earnings. Because even if DAC had a double beat, which they may have just completely annihilated their earnings and did amazing. But if the market has priced in those earnings to be higher and they aren't getting that, you know, the percentage that they're looking for, it's going to pull back. They're going to sell off. So I'm very, very happy with my decision to sell DAC right before the close, just an hour or two before the close, because we made 8.9%, or I'm sorry, I got to see what it was again now. 4.8%. 4.8% on that. And same thing with Google. We made 4.89% on Google. So that was a good sell. Now we have Reddit. We're still holding Reddit. We're still holding APP. We're still holding, what's the other one I'm still holding here? Oh, and in case anybody was wondering, I did sell my one Tesla share that we played for earnings. Should I play an Apple share? Should we play an Apple share? You guys let me know. If somebody says I should play an Apple share, I'll do one Apple share. Joe Justo, I love all your comments in here. I don't know if I can keep up. Come on, Apple. Make it crapple. A dump, baby. So Joe wants this thing to dump, and I got a vote up here. 25 votes so far. We got 52% of you saying that Apple will be above its $240 area, and 36% say below that 240 area. 8% say an apple a day. An apple a day, baby. And that is the truth. Joe also says, I just want to see if it moves the market. You think it would? No? You're darn tootin' it will. You are darn tootin', good sir. You know, I don't know if anybody, I can't speak for everybody in the chat, Joe, but I don't hold till I die for everything. I don't hodl anything. I really don't. I do not marry any stock. The only thing I do is I have a big boy account. I won't tell you how much is in there, but it's a very sizable amount, okay? We'll consider it my retirement account, okay? I give that to my financial advisor, and I let him do my investing for me, and it's all for a long-term account. That is my hodl, right? Stink bid? You think I should throw a stink bid out there? So the only thing I hodl is the S&P 500. I will hodl that for sure. I will hold until the day I die for that because it's made me so much damn money. Now, speaking of money, we have 6 minutes till Apple earnings is supposed to drop. So we're going to see. The biggest question is, of course, I'd like to see it get above 240 for the overall market's sake. I'm always positive when it comes to that, and Apple is a big part of the market. But this 237.50 is very important. We want to see it hold this area because if it breaks down in this area of support will then become resistance, and we don't want to see that happen. Okay, so keep that in mind. Yeah, maybe I should put a stink bid in, B. Stewie. Put a stink bid in. But the question is, where the hell would I put that stink bid in? You know, I mean, there's not too much support down here. I mean, I could probably put a stink bid in down here like 221. That'd be crazy if it went all the way down there, you know, at 221. I mean, I guess I could. We could put a stink bid in at 221. And then if it gets all the way down there, you know, that would be crazy. let's see. We'll do a simple 5 shares at 221 in the after hours. Let me see. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see, buy 10 at 221. Limit 221. If it gets all the way down to 221, I'll have my stink bid out there. Extended. So we got a 10 share size at 221. Extended. Let's see. Stock. Buy. Auto. That's on Reddit. We want this on Apple. Why has it got it set on Apple? What the hell? Let's see. All right, here we go. Give me 1 second. We got 4 minutes, guys. 4 minutes here. I'm just trying to set up a stink bid really quick. Let's see here. I don't know why this is so freaking hard right now. It's like it changed everything. What's up, Smaid? 5 minutes, yeah, baby. Have a crapple on my mind. Will it break my heart? What? They beat expectations. Let's see. Who beat expectations? Deck? Did Deck beat expectations and they still failed? Oh, look at Deck. All the way down to 185 right now. 185, guys. Joe says, if Crapple does dump to 218, Nubia, I gave you where my bounce. Man, that's hard to read, dude. That's hard to read. If I read that, people will think I'm, slow or drunk, one of the two. Maybe both. And maybe I am, who knows. All right, let's see. Let me try and get this stink bit in here. We got to go extended. We got to go all the way down to 221. It'd be crazy if it goes all the way down to 221 and it gets me in. But that's part of it. That might be part of the fun. Here's 221. Don't do this to me. There we go. All right, I got my stink bid in. It'd be crazy if it came all the way down to 221 and got us in. But, if it does, then, hey, we're in for 10 shares at 221. That'd be a bounce off the 200-day moving average. And if it does, it does. But Deck is a great reason why we do not play earnings, guys. We do not buy before earnings. I'll put in a stink bid because I would love to see this thing really just crazy pull back, and then it would be so oversold that we'd at least get some kind of bounce, and then I would sell into that bounce. That's just a quick stink bid. I call it a stink bid, but we got about 2 minutes, guys, so pay attention here because after this, we will have the earnings call right at 5 o'clock. That's in 30 minutes. So we'll go ahead and get that one up on here, but we have less than 2 minutes right now, 2 minutes until the earnings comes out. So make sure you are ready and willing, folks. I am so pumped for this. So this is about to move the market. We're going to set and save this. Bada bing, bada boom for the earnings call. So we have the earnings call up in the corner here. I hope you guys are ready. We got 21 of you in here. Make sure you hit that like, that subscribe, and vote on the poll. We got 26 votes. 54% of you say it will close above a $240 price area. 35% say below 240. So we're going to see who's right. Usually this Discord or this chat usually is pretty right. So let's see. Wait for 218 if Apple dumps to what I said. Okay, Joe. Well, best of luck to you, brother. Best of luck, brother. You never know what's going to happen. Nobody actually knows what's going to happen. And if you are on here trying to tell me you know what's going to happen, you are dead wrong, okay? Or you'd be a rich Mickey Ficky. You wouldn't be typing to me right now. I'll tell you that. So here it comes, boys. Are you ready? We got about 2 minutes. Well, less than 2 minutes. About a minute. Oh, 1 minute. We're down to 1 minute. 1 minute left to go. Oh, yeah. 1 minute, baby. I wish I could turn on some like dramatic music. Here we go. Yeah, baby. The market it's going to do some things right here. Pay attention, folks. We're sitting at 238.55. When the numbers come out, don't worry. I will drop these in the text box above us right away. I hope you guys are ready. I'm pumped. I am pumped. Once these drop, I will throw these in the text box above at the very top of the screen so everybody will be able to read them, and you'll be the first to see them as well. Okay, so here it comes, guys. We got about 20 seconds left. 20 seconds left, guys. Oh, we already got a big tick down, big pullback. We're pulling back very, very hard right now. Apple reports first quarter results. Here we go. Year over year. Today, Apple's reporting our best quarter ever with $124.3 billion, up 4% from a year ago. Tim Cook. Let's see here. We need the numbers. Give me the numbers. All right. Wow, look at that. 244. Big push up here. Very, very volatile, guys. Pay attention to this. So this is saying their best year yet, their best quarter yet. Has declared cash of $25 per share. Let's see, announced financial results for its 2025 first quarter ended in December 28th, 2024. The company posted quarterly revenue of $124.3 billion, up 4% year over year, and quarterly diluted earnings per share $2.40, up 10% year over year. Here we go. Mac sales $8.987 billion, iPad sales $8.087, iPhone sales up, GAAP EPS 2.40 beats 2.36 estimate, and the sales. So let me put these up here for you. Oh, it's coming right back down now. That's what I mean by volatility, baby. All right, we got those numbers posted up there for you, so you can read them yourself. We have the Apple Q1 service sales. Let's see, those are looking good. Let me go ahead and read these off to you. So the Apple NASDAQ AAPL reports quarterly earnings of $2.40 per share. Let's see, let me read this to you. Reported the quarterly earnings $2.40 per share, which beat the analyst consensus estimates of $2.36 per share, 1.69%. This is a 10% increase over earnings of $2.18 per share from the same period last year. The company reported quarterly sales of $124.3 billion, which beat the analyst consensus estimate of $124.131 billion by 0.14%. This is a 3.95% increase over sales of $119.57 billion the same period last year. That is a very, very good sign. This is what Apple needed to help hold above this area, but it looks like we are still sitting right here where we closed at the end of the day. So that's very interesting to see. Joe Justo says, okay, no effect on the VIX derivatives, so I get to see what I was looking for. Have a good one, folks. You have a good one, Joe. I hope everything works out according to your process and plan. Of course, remember, guys, we are always having a process. We always wait until after these earnings, and here we go. It's starting to pull back now down to 236.50. The big wigs are going to be coming out here really soon in about 24 minutes, guys. 24 minutes. Apple earnings call will be coming out, so stay tuned. Stick with us here. We're going to have a lot more news coming in here as America's net sales, 52.64, up from 50.43 year over year. Europe net sales 33.86, up from 30.39. Greater China net sales 18.51 is down from the 20.81. So it looks like they beat everywhere but China. They're still hurting in China. They're still hurting there. But other than that, it looks like a beat, and that's very good for the stock. But it looks like in the technical analysis here, it's not looking like they give a crap. It looks like we got a big push up well over this 245.50. And then what happened? It sold off. This is a big wick on the 1 minute. So we need to pay very close attention to this, guys, especially through the earnings call, because there is going to be so much in this earnings call that could go both ways for this stock. So make sure you stay tuned. That will be coming out in 23 minutes. So if you have a brew, cheers to you. If you don't, that's okay. I'll take a sip just for you. So this one's for B. Stewie for being up all night with me, getting that leaders list together. That was pretty good. Maybe I'll have one too. Who else is in here? Who else was up all night with me? Not all night, but who was up for the past 3 hours putting together that leader list? Huh? If you were with me, send out a heart in the chat. Give me some love. Let me know that you were here. Send me a chat. Say spaghetti or spaghetti. That's a hard one to type. That's a hard one to spell. But don't you guys worry. We have this already all set up. You guys can see this right in front of me. This is our Apple earnings. Of course, we don't want to have the music on because the conference call, that will get me dinged for, they will try to take my monetary, they'll try to keep me from getting monetized. But we have the earnings call. We're all signed up. We're ready to go. Don't worry, guys. You will be first to hear it. It will be right here, right now, and you guys will love it. It is live. We are here. Analogist, what's going on, brother? It's good to see you. Zamora, I know that you were in there. Zamora, I'm telling you, yesterday was your day. You brought up some good stocks. You didn't talk to me about shit stocks, penny stocks, none of that garbage. You talked a great game, Zamora, and power to you, girl, because you are amazing. I'm glad that you are learning. I'm glad that you are focused on the leaders in the market. And right now, Apple is sitting at 237.60. It's good to see. It's good to see. Spaghetti, and you know how to spell it too. Spaghetti. Jimmy Bright was in there last night. Jimmy Bright is honestly has probably got more watch time hours on this YouTube channel than anybody else in the past, let's say, 3 months. B. Stewie's got everybody beat. B. Stewie's got everybody beat. He's my day one. He's been supporting me since I started this channel about 3 years ago. But I'm telling you, in the past 3 months, nobody's got Jimmy beat, right? Nobody's got Jimmy beat. And Spaghetti, right back to you, brother. And we got 24 of you in here right now. I appreciate everybody being here. We are all here for the Apple financial results conference call. If you want to know the consistency of what happened, it is in the scroll bar at the very top. We have less than 25 minutes left to go. Apple will come out and they will spit their game. We're going to see if they have what it takes to considerably head higher or lower, but it looks like we are pretty much break even. This stock, if you guys weren't aware of it, I put a stink bid all the way down there at around 221. We were expecting, you know, if this thing were to fail hard and fast, I could grab a few shares as it rip right back up, but it didn't get down to that stink bid, so that's a-okay. We just put those in there because we don't expect those stink bids to get hit. Oh, we got some more news coming out here. Q1 American sales, it looks like it's chirping higher now as 52.6 billion versus Visible Alpha analyst consensus at 53.3 billion. Europe sales 33.9 billion versus the consensus of 32 billion. So yeah, we have already read all of that. But yes, Apple has done considerably better, very much better. Yeah, what's up, Keith Stone? You see Root? Please tell me you took Root, brother. Please tell me you took Root. We identified Root 3 weeks ago as a leader in this market, and we've been telling everybody Root is looking beautiful. So Keith, I hope you did take Root because that had a beautiful basing breakout today. That is exactly why we focus on leaders in the overall market. We want to be a part of those leaders, and we hope that you were able to get a piece of that, my friend. I really hope you were able to. We got plenty going on here, guys. Lots of news. Apple came out. They are beating all of the consensus. We absolutely love to see it. The only place they did not do better on was in China. They didn't make up those numbers in China the best that they wanted to. They were undercutting that China consensus, but that's a-okay. They beat everywhere else. But it looks like they're just lingering around like some bad breath. Japan sales just came out, 8.99 billion on a Visible Alpha analyst consensus of 7.93. China and rest of Asia sales, 28.8 billion versus the consensus of 31.7. So right there is your answer. We're down about 3.1 billion in the China and the rest of Asia's sales. Not doing very good in China, but in Japan, they did very, very well. In, let's see, America, they did very well. The iPhone sales did very well. No, I'm sorry, they were down slightly in the iPhone sales. Net sales, 52.64, up from 50.43. Year over year net sales, 33.86, up from 30.39 in Europe. The greater China sales is only 18.51. It's down from the 20.81. So everything's looking really good for Apple. And we can see it's starting to trail back now. It's starting to pull back. I told you guys before we started this, I think it's very important that we hold this 237. And it looks like it's starting to pull back a little harder now. We have about 17 minutes left. 17 minutes, guys, until the earnings call comes out. So I hope you're here. I hope you're happy. And I hope you are healthy. But Keith, I'm telling you, Keith, you need to answer my question. I'm dying to know. Troy Wiseman, what's going on, man? He says 24 here and 14 likes. Yes, sir. Let's get those likes in, baby. Oh, yeah, we got 13 now. Let's go. Let's go. Well, I guess we got more since you said there's 14, but let's go, baby. We need to make them likes. Let's get the likes up. I want my YouTube to go parabolic. We are now breaking down here for Apple down to 235.48. We talked about this area. The whole reason why we talked about this area because that's a huge area of what could be support. But if we're below it, it's going to be resistance. So we want to be above that area. I'll go ahead and get rid of this news down here so that way we can see a little bit more of what's going on. Let me see if I can do that. There we go. Okay, so when you see this on the daily time frame right here, guys, here is your daily time frame. Here is your resistance area. I call it resistance because it was acting as support when it broke above this, but now that we're below it, this is the resistance line or the danger zone, if you will. And if we do not hold this area, I think that Apple has the opportunity to actually head much lower. So we need to be careful with that. Of course, in 16 minutes, that all could change. It all could change because they might come out and give a future outlook that seems extremely bullish, and he'll seem very dovish on any issues that might need to be resolved. So why am I having a hard time saying that? Sure, man, nice content. I'm trading US 100 at the moment, and your commentary is amazing. Thank you so much. Analogist. Why am I having a hard time saying that right now? I remember telling a friend, I was like, man, I'm very good at pronunciating things. You know, I'd done a lot of reading when I was younger. I don't do as much now. I do a lot more listening than I do reading. And he threw me something. We were doing like a gift exchange, and I had trouble reading this word. And he goes, I thought you were good at pronunciating things. And I was like, oh, so embarrassing. But analogist. I appreciate your comment, man. I appreciate the love, and I appreciate you subscribing. Yeah, let's go, baby. So we closed out of DEC. I just want to touch on DEC really quick. This is a huge reason why. So here's DEC. I sold DEC right here before we closed. So you can say, sure, I sold the top, but it's not my choice. It was my rules. The whole reason why we sold DEC is because earnings were today and it failed. And look, it was a double beat. It doesn't matter. Earnings does not matter. If you play earnings, you are gambling, folks. And look, if I wouldn't have sold at 223 and made 4.8%, then it would be down 108 down to 185. I would have actually lost, let me see if I can get this going here. I would have lost roughly 20% on this trade. Now, I gained 4.8%. I could have lost 20% by trying to hold through earnings. That's the whole reason why we do not hold through earnings. It's very important. I think it's very pinnacle that everybody learns from that, okay? Analogist says, is the translate for actuary in Greek? Man, thanks. Oh, very cool. Thank you for that. Now I feel like I need to look up actuary. So we're going to go to define actuary. Actuary, a person who compiles and analyzes statistics and uses them to calculate insurance risk and prelim. Dude, yes, I love it. Absolutely love it, dude. Analogist, that is very, very cool. I think that is exactly what I am too. And I really like that name because risk management is key to trading. If you do not analyze your risk and put that to be part of your process, you are not going to be a trader for very long. That's the honest to God truth. So I really like the name, and I really like the fact that it translates to actuary from Greek. That's even cooler. Can you buy Apple now? I mean, I could. I very well could buy Apple now because the earnings came out. It's over, and it's holding this area. But my thing is I would want it to settle down, right, Zamora? I would want this thing to settle down. I don't have a play here. We could say that this would be a base breakout because it's been trading sideways for this long. So technically you could say, yeah, this is a basing breakout, but where's your higher lows? Where are your higher lows? If we zoom in on this, you know, I just see your low here. I would like to see it create another tightening pattern underneath this 237, 240 area. So yes, technically you can play at any time. But me personally, I'm waiting for that contraction. We have expansion here off the bottom, and that expansion off the bottom from 220 all the way up to here is 8%. We want to see this thing contract before it headed higher, and we want to see it get nice and tight before it broke this 238 area. Woo! We got to drown those. We got to drown the yawns, guys. But yes, you could buy Apple now. You could consider this a basing breakout, but I don't. I don't like the looks of it. And with the earnings call coming out in 12 minutes, I much rather wait until open when we are more liquid. Okay. Right now we are still pretty liquid, but its spread right now is about 15 cents still. It's still 15-cent spread. And being in the after hours and stuff, you're going to get people walking all over the bid and the ask. So I much rather wait till tomorrow. Let everything settle down. Let the dust cool so I can see, or let the dust settle, not cool. It's cold. It's cold. It's a cold day in Michigan here. It's actually warmer than usual, but yeah. Adrian, get your ass in the chat. It's good to see you, Adrian. You probably can't hear me just yet, but yeah, just to go back to your question, technically, yeah, I mean, you could, but I don't like to buy pre-market. I don't like to buy aftermarket. I only like to buy when the market is open because things are more liquid. You have a closer bid to ask price. So yeah, I think it's important to wait, to be honest with you. I think it's very important to wait. Let's see. I got class at 5. Just pop it, dude. All right. So Apple now trading at 237.59. Really just trying to hold this area with 10 minutes left to go, guys. We need to stay very alert at 5 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully that's Eastern. I thought Eastern is EST. Maybe it's just ET. Now I'm starting to confuse myself here. It'll be coming out at 5 p.m. I'm ready. I hope you guys are ready. I'm pumped. We're going to ask Google anyway, though. Okay, yeah, ET. I thought Eastern, I thought they always said EST. So it's just ET? Okay. So I am curious. So I created this on Grok. We just looked this up. We asked Grok to smash an Apple, you know, with AI because they're not doing very good with AI. So make an image of Apple being smashed by AI. I thought it did pretty well, you know, it's pretty well. It looks like this one is using an Apple to smash the Apple, which is, I don't know, concerning almost. Let's see. What should we ask Grok? What should we ask Grok? In a futuristic, buy a giant robot. There we go. Let's take a look at this. Let's see what it gives us here. I think I'm going to start doing this. We're going to start using this to create our our thumbnails. So we could do, you know, Apple earnings right at the top here. But yeah, there we go. They need to get in line. They're behind in their Apple, their AI software, all their AI bullshit. They aren't doing it. They're not coming out with nothing. Make sure you guys vote on the poll. Right now, it's pretty easy to say, you know, below 240. But what do you really believe? Are we going to be above 240 at the end of the earnings call? The earnings call is going to last. Usually, they're an hour. Yesterday, we did Tesla's earnings call, and it went on a little longer than an hour because your boy Elon Musk, he does like to jibber jabber for quite a while. With that being said, it went on for quite some time, but he had a lot to say. There was a lot going on there. Adrian says, schoolwork has been different this semester, not getting much positive feedback from my trades, so I've been on the charts too much. Enter, get a small push, fade intraday over and over again. Yeah, I hear you on that, brother. You're also not looking at leaders, Adrian. I know what you're playing, and I know who you're playing with, my friend. Nothing but love, but you know, I've done it all. I've done swing trading now, primarily. I do swing trading. Of course, I have long-term financial goals, but I usually use the big boy account for that. But we are still holding VOO. We hold VOO. We're up, you know, $200 or $300 on VOO since the last time that we pulled back. We started adding into that VOO. You know, and then I started off by scalping, by day trading, by getting in the market with $100,000 and then getting out within, you know, 5 minutes or sometimes 30 seconds. And it was ridiculous. It's ridiculous to play that way. It's a lot of stress. You're up $1,000, you're down $1,000. Some days you end the week good and happy and you feel like you're going to be rich. And then other weeks you feel like, you know, you're in a deep, dark depression because you've lost that money. And then you start to zoom out. You go from the 1 minute to the 5 minute to the 5 minute to the 1 hour to the 4 hour and the daily. And now I'm using the daily and the weekly time frames, guys, because that is the best way for me to find the overall direction of the stock. And then I will zoom in to look at the volume, okay? So if I zoom out, it's to look at the daily and the weekly. I wanna zoom way out, I wanna understand, and that's what I just did here for Apple. You know, why is this line? Why is this so important? Why is this area ricocheting back and forth on here? Well, if we zoom out and we look at the past, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the last 7 months of trading, this area has been a top. This 237.80 has been an area of resistance. And we have 5 minutes, guys, less than 5 minutes before Apple's earnings financial result conference call comes out. So make sure you stay alert and attentive. It's gonna be coming out very, very soon, okay? And then I will shut the hell up and I will let them talk. I'll let the CEO tell you exactly what you need to hear. With that being said though, always zoom out, guys. We need to always zoom out so you can see where your support is, where your resistance is, and what is going on with the overall market itself, okay? Make sure you zoom out. That's how I found this area. That's how I knew that this is such an important area, and that's why we are bouncing around this area. I really think this conference call could make this direction, could make it go one way or the other. The great thing about this is it didn't move much. So that's a good sign that Apple could continue higher. If this thing just tanked and just fell, you know, we would get a bounce, but if it just tanked like NVIDIA did, we're gonna get a bounce and then it's probably gonna continue to sell off, okay? And that's just direction, that's just following direction, okay? So Keith Stone popped in here. He said root and then he left, and that just makes me so grumpy because I really wanted to know if he got a piece of root, because I didn't. I was waiting for that retest, that bounce off of that key area, and it did not. It just continued higher, but that's why we identify these leaders, guys. We got 31 votes. Apple will end its earnings call above 240, 48% of you said. 35% said below 240. 10% say you were just here for the show. Cheers for that. Thank you very much for showing up and doing your part. And it looks like 6% said an apple a day. You know what that means. An apple a day doesn't make earnings go away. It brings in the volatility, baby. Apple earnings in 3 minutes. Yep, well, we had the earnings call, B. Stewie. Gosh. Oh, cheers, brother. Oh, man. Last night was great, dude. We need to do that more, where we just sit down and we just go through everything. Every stock ticker that we've brought up, all of our past leaders, our present leaders. We go over the sectors, which, by the way, B. Stewie, you weren't here, but I did want to let you know, let me bring it up. I want you to take a look at RDW, and BYRN. I'll put it in our Discord. RDW, I want you to take a look at that stock, and BYRN. Those are two more that I found in the aerospace defense that have amazing financials. So why don't you check those out when you get a second, and definitely check that out. D-Nice FX, what's going on, brother? He asked, you think QQQ goes up or drops? You know, that's a really good question. So if we look at QQQ, now we got 3 minutes until this this live earning starts. So just keep that in mind, guys. Let's look at QQQ really quick. So I'll bring up QQQ. We only got a few more minutes though. So QQQ has just been trading sideways. It's above its 50-day moving average. So it's looking good here. You know, QQQ is looking good here. What my concern for QQQ is if it can't hold this new higher low. So you can see right here, this is a low, and this right here is a new higher low. Okay, so as long as it continues to make these new higher lows, I think QQQ looks good. I like it. So I do think it can go higher here. I think it's playing off this 50-day moving average, and it looks good. I think it can definitely go higher. So QQQ does look good. You're thinking it drops? Well, it very well could, especially if this Apple earnings call doesn't do very well. It definitely could drop, and you know, there's a lot of that can factor into it. So yeah, it very well could drop. NVIDIA dropped, ARM, you know, there's a lot that's a part of the QQQ, and if all of those are starting to drop, it's obviously going to follow because it is an ETF that follows tech. So if tech drops, QQQ will drop, but it looks like it's holding up very well considering NVIDIA's huge pullback below a 200-day moving average. Now, guys, we have 1 minute left. 1 minute left. Thank you so much for joining. If you haven't already, vote on the poll, hit that like and subscribe. I know a lot of people get mad when I ask for that, but ooh, look at Apple just took another drop, another steep drop, 234.05. Like I was telling you guys, I think this 237 is a key area to hold as it's starting to pull back here. So we're going to see if it ever wants to actually hold. So yeah, we're going to see. Just sweep Tuesday's low. Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely, brother. It's not looking very good. We're all the way down here. This should be an area of support as well, if it can. But regardless, guys, we have the earnings call coming up. Earnings call is coming up. You guys might hear little burps of it. I'm just making sure that I'm making sure that we're not missing any of it. So here we go. About 30 seconds left to go, and I'm going to let the man himself take it away, and we will listen to this earnings call. Thank you guys so much for being here, though. I am elated to have. And D-Nice FX, thank you for subscribing. I do appreciate that, brother. We do lots of earnings calls. We do Discord meetings. We do live trading, commentary, analysis. We do it all. We do it all right here. So thank you for being a part of this. So it looks like we just got a few more minutes left. We'll get rid of this since we got 2 minutes. 2 minutes left to go, guys, and we have this earnings call will start. So make sure you are alert and attentive. Put on your listening ears. We're down to 233.98. We'll go ahead and we'll just blow this up so we can see this on a full scale so everybody is aware and understands what's going on here. Alrighty. All right. And I'll get my big head out of the way. It's your first time here, D-Nice? Well, thanks. I'm glad you're here. We do have a Discord. Everything's free, guys. Everything I offer is free. Of course, if you want to catch up on stock market analysis and all that good stuff, I do offer mentorship. It's cheap, it's fun, and we make sure that you enjoy your time and you learn something from it, because if you don't, I give you your money back. I'm not in the business of taking people's money. I'm in the business of making sure people learn how to make money. If you don't know already, I'll let the picture state for itself. I train traders how to trade. That's what I do here. and I absolutely love it. So if you are interested in that, you're more than welcome to do that. But let me just put my link tree in here so everybody has and understands how to join this. I've been trading a little over 5 years now. I've done it all. I've done scalping, I've done day trading, I've done swing trading and long-term investing. I have landed now where I am finally making beautiful money, focusing on leaders in the overall market that focus on a trend or a base breakout trader focusing on momentum. That's what we do. We focus on momentum. We buy when we find those trend and base breakouts. When it breaks out, we get in. We use a 10 or a 21-day moving average, kind of like a Christian Kulamagi mixed with a William O'Neill type of trading. This is what we recommend everybody reading before you even get started. So make sure you get this book, How to Make Money in Stocks by William O'Neill. Also, we always recommend everybody going through my free swing trading course. Everything is free, guys. You won't hear me asking you for money, only likes and subscribes. So I really hope that you do that. Oh my God, I can be Taekwondo, do Trading Master. It's actually jujitsu. I do jujitsu. I've been doing jujitsu for 7 years now. I'm a purple belt. I'm a purple belt with a bad knee, so you know I've been doing it. But yeah, it's awesome to have you guys here, and definitely such a sales pitch. But that's the thing. I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I'm really not. But you know, I'm just here to help. Absolutely love helping. So
correct. After that, we'll open the call to questions from analysts. Please note that some of the information you'll hear during our discussion today will consist of forward-looking statements, including, without limitation, those regarding revenue, gross margin, operating expenses, other income and expense, taxes, capital allocation, and future business outlook, including the potential impact of macroeconomic conditions on the company's business and results of operations. These statements involve risks and uncertainties that may cause actual results or trends to differ materially from our forecast. For more information, please refer to the risk factors discussed in Apple's most recently filed annual report on Form 10-K and the Form 8-K filed with the SEC today, along with the associated press release. Apple assumes no obligation to update any forward-looking statements, which speak only as of the date they are made. I'd now like to turn the call over to Tim for introductory remarks.
Thank you, Suhasini. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining the call. Before I talk about our results, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the devastating wildfires that impacted the Los Angeles area this month. From our retail teams to Apple TV Plus, Apple Music, Fitness Plus, Beats, and more, LA is home to many of our team members. Our thoughts are with everyone who is beginning the road to recovery. For our part, we are contributing to the relief efforts, and we will continue to support our teams and the local community. Now, turning to the quarter. Today, Apple is reporting revenue of $124.3 billion for the December quarter, up 4% from a year ago and an all-time record. EPS also set an all-time record of $2.40, 10% higher year over year. We achieved all-time revenue records across the majority of the countries and regions we track, including the Americas, Europe, Japan, and the rest of Asia Pacific. We also continue to see momentum in emerging markets, setting all-time revenue records in a number of markets, including Latin America, the Middle East, and South Asia, among others. In services, we achieved an all-time revenue record, and in the past year, we've seen nearly $100 billion in revenue from our services business. I'm also pleased to announce that we reached a new record for our installed base with over 2.35 billion active devices. In October, we released the first set of Apple Intelligence features in US English for iPhone, iPad, and Mac, and we rolled out more features and expanded to more countries in December. Now, users can discover the benefits of these new features in the things they do every day. They can use writing tools to help find just the right words, create fun and unique images with Image Playground and Genmoji, handle daily tasks and seek out information with a more natural and conversational Siri, create movies of their memories with a simple prompt, and touch up their photos with cleanup. We introduced visual intelligence with camera control to help users instantly learn about their surroundings. Users can also seamlessly access ChatGPT across iOS, iPadOS, and macOS. And we were excited to recently begin our international expansion with Apple Intelligence now available in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, South Africa, and the UK. We're working hard to take Apple Intelligence even further. In April, we're bringing Apple Intelligence to more languages, including French, German, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, Japanese, Korean, and simplified Chinese, as well as localized English to Singapore and India. And we'll continue to roll out more features in the future, including an even more capable Siri. Apple Intelligence builds on years of innovations we've made across hardware and software to transform how users experience our products. Apple Intelligence also empowers users by delivering personal context that's relevant to them. And importantly, Apple Intelligence is a breakthrough for privacy and AI with innovations like private cloud compute, which extends the industry-leading security and privacy of Apple devices into the cloud. Apple Intelligence opens up an exciting new frontier and is already elevating experiences across iPhone, iPad, and Mac. We're going to keep investing in innovation and in transformative tools that help users in their everyday lives. Let me now turn to our results for the quarter, starting with iPhone. iPhone revenue came in at $69.1 billion, reaching all-time iPhone revenue records in dozens of markets and regions. Our iPhone 16 lineup takes the smartphone experience to the next level in so many ways, and Apple Intelligence is one of many reasons why customers are excited. With the A18-powered iPhone 16 and iPhone 16 Plus, users are getting a big boost in battery life and incredible camera experiences with camera control. Our amazingly powerful iPhone 16 Pro models go even further, with larger-than-ever displays and a Pro camera system so advanced it can turn moments into masterpieces. In Mac, revenue was $9 billion for the December quarter, 16% higher year over year, driven by significant excitement around the world for our latest Mac lineup. The Mac is more than just a powerful tool. It's a launchpad to enable users to bring their best ideas and boldest creations to life. And there are so many reasons to choose Mac, from the breathtaking performance of the M4 family of chips to the groundbreaking and growing capabilities of Apple Intelligence. Every product in the Mac lineup offers something extraordinary, whether that's the super portable MacBook Air, the powerhouse MacBook Pro, the world's best all-in-one iMac, or the small wonder that is the Mac Mini, which is not only stunningly capable, but is our first carbon-neutral Mac. All of this is enabled by the unparalleled power of Apple Silicon. iPad revenue was $8.1 billion, up 15% from a year ago, driven by strong interest for our latest products. We love hearing from customers who are discovering for the first time the versatility of iPad, from the ultra-portable iPad mini, built from the ground up for Apple Intelligence, to the powerful M4 iPad Pro in a stunningly thin and light design. iPad is there for our users whenever they need it and wherever they go, and we are pleased to see so much excitement and enthusiasm for our lineup. Wearables, home, and accessories revenue came in at $11.7 billion. With its most advanced display yet and a thinner, more comfortable design, the all-new Apple Watch Series 10 is the perfect companion to help users pursue their health and fitness goals this year. From the powerful Vitals app to more customizable activity rings, users have an ever-increasing set of innovative health tools at their fingertips in watchOS 11. Health innovation has long been a focus for us, and we're committed to continuing to advance this work because we know how much it matters to our users. We've introduced new hearing health features on AirPods Pro 2, and new sleep apnea notifications on Apple Watch are also helping users learn of a potentially serious condition that's thought to affect up to 1 billion people worldwide. During the quarter, we also brought Apple Vision Pro to even more countries, enabling more customers to discover the magic of spatial computing. Users are enjoying incredible, immersive entertainment experiences and powerful new features and enhancements to Mac Virtual Display. Vision Pro is also supercharging the creative process, and the incredibly talented director John M. Chu recently shared how its extraordinary capabilities helped him bring the movie Wicked to life. Turning to services, we set an all-time revenue record of $26.3 billion for the December quarter, growing 14% from a year ago. We set all-time records in the Americas, Europe, and rest of Asia Pacific, and a December quarter record in Japan. 5 years since launch, Apple TV Plus continues to be home to incredible storytelling that viewers love. There's nothing quite like the anticipation that comes when a fan favorite returns, and we were thrilled to debut the second season of Severance earlier this month. We have so much in store for our subscribers this year with new shows like The Studio and Your Friends and Neighbors. And we can't wait for the premiere of Formula One, starring Brad Pitt on June 27th, which will take viewers inside the sport in a truly unprecedented way. We're excited that Apple TV Plus continues to draw attention and accolades. To date, Apple TV Plus productions have earned more than 2,500 nominations and 538 wins. During the quarter, we were also excited to launch a new Find My service that can help our users when they lose their luggage. For the first time, if you put an AirTag in your suitcase, you'll be able to share its location information with many major airlines so they can quickly track down your bags if they get lost. Turning to retail, our teams went above and beyond to help customers find the perfect gift throughout the holiday season. We also celebrated openings of new stores in China, Spain, and the US. And we were excited to announce plans to connect with even more customers this year by adding a 5th store in the UAE and bringing our online store to Saudi Arabia this summer. We can't wait to welcome customers to the first of several flagship store locations in Saudi Arabia that we're opening beginning in 2026. I just had the chance to visit both countries last month, and I had a great time meeting with customers and team members. There's an incredible energy and passion for technology in these growing markets. Every day, I get deeply moving notes about the many ways our technology is enriching our users' lives. I recently got a note from a customer who put his watch on his father's wrist when he feared something was wrong with him. The watch alerted them that the father was in AFib, and they were able to get him to the hospital for potentially life-saving treatment. Another user put his new watch on for the first time, and within 15 minutes was notified of a low heart rate that led to a necessary pacemaker. And there are so many touching notes around the profound impact of our new hearing health feature, like a recent user who told me it had changed her life, allowing her to take part in conversations with her children and grandchildren. These are the kind of stories that remind us of how profoundly important our work is, and it drives us to innovate each and every day. At Apple, the future is full of promise and potential. We're always searching across a world of possibilities, finding those places where we can do the most good and putting all of our energy and ingenuity into making something special. With that, I'll turn it over to Kevin.
Thanks, Tim, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to cover the results for the first quarter of our fiscal year. We are very pleased to report an all-time high for revenue, with December quarter revenue of $124.3 billion, up 4% year over year. we achieved all-time revenue records in the Americas, Europe, Japan, and rest of Asia Pacific, and grew in the vast majority of markets we track. Products revenue was $98 billion, up 2% year over year, driven by growth from iPad and Mac. Thanks to our incredible customer satisfaction and strong loyalty, our install base of active devices reached an all-time high across all products and geographic segments, and is now over 2.35 billion active devices. Services revenue reached an all-time record of $26.3 billion, up 14% year over year. We grew in every geographic segment and achieved all-time records in both developed and emerging markets. Company gross margin was 46.9%, at the high end of our guidance range, and up 70 basis points sequentially, primarily driven by favorable mix. Products gross margin was 39.3%, up 300 basis points sequentially, primarily driven by favorable mix and leverage. Services gross margin was 75%, up 100 basis points sequentially, primarily driven by mix. Operating expenses of $15.4 billion landed at the midpoint of our guidance range and up 7% year over year. This strong business performance resulted in all-time records for both net income at $36.3 billion and diluted earnings per share of $2.40, up 10% year over year. Operating cash flow was also strong at $29.9 billion, which included the impact of the $11.9 billion we paid during the quarter in connection with the state aid decision. Now, I'm going to provide some more details for each of our revenue categories. iPhone revenue was $69.1 billion, roughly flat to the prior year. We grew in the majority of markets we track and reached all-time revenue records in several developed markets, including Canada, Western Europe, and Japan, and in emerging markets like Latin America, the Middle East, and South Asia. The iPhone active install base grew to an all-time high in total and in every geographic segment. We also set an all-time record for upgraders. According to a recent survey from Kantar, during the December quarter, iPhone was a top-selling model in the US, urban China, India, the UK, France, Australia, and Japan. We continue to see high levels of customer satisfaction in the US at 96%, as measured by 451 Research. Mac generated $9 billion in revenue, up 16% year over year. We saw strength across our lineup, from the new Mac Mini to the latest MacBook Air and MacBook Pro models. This incredible performance was broad-based, with double-digit growth in every geographic segment. With our latest advances in Apple Silicon and our fastest neural engine ever, customers are able to take advantage of the full capabilities of AI and Mac. The Mac install base reached an all-time high, and we saw double-digit growth for both upgraders and customers new to the Mac. Additionally, customer satisfaction in the US was recently measured at 94%. iPad revenue was $8.1 billion, up 15% year over year, driven by the new iPad Mini and latest iPad Air. The iPad install base reached another all-time high, and over half of the customers who purchased an iPad during the quarter were new to the product. Customer satisfaction was at 96% in the US, based on the latest reports from 451 Research. Wearables, home, and accessories revenue was $11.7 billion, down 2% year over year. Customers are excited about the new AirPods 4 and the latest hearing health features in AirPods Pro 2. On Watch, although we face a difficult compare against a Watch Ultra 2 launch last year, the Apple Watch install base reached a new all-time high, with over half of customers purchasing an Apple Watch during the quarter being new to the product. Customer satisfaction for Watch in the US was reported at 94%. Our services revenue reached an all-time high of $26.3 billion, up 14% year over year. Services continues to see strong momentum, and the growth of our install base of active devices gives us great opportunities for the future. We also see increased customer engagement with our services offerings. Both transacting and paid accounts reached new all-time highs, with paid accounts growing double digits year over year. Paid subscriptions also grew double digits. We have well over 1 billion paid subscriptions across the services on our platform. We remain focused on improving the breadth and quality of our services offerings, from new games on Apple Arcade to exciting new programming on Fitness Plus, and the continued expansion of features like Tap to Pay, now live in 20 markets. Turning to enterprise, we have seen businesses continue to expand their deployments of our products and services. Deutsche Bank launched its Mac's Choice program for their developers and also issued the latest MacBook Air as a standard computer for their entire mortgage lending division. And we're excited to see leading enterprises such as SAP leverage Apple Intelligence in the US, with features like writing tools, summarize, and priority notifications to enhance both their employee and customer experiences. We also see strong demand in our emerging markets. For example, Zomato, a leading food ordering and delivery company in India, has deployed thousands of Macs across their workforce to foster innovation. And Vision Pro continues to see more use cases in enterprise, with Cisco's new spatial meetings delivering a fully immersive video conferencing experience for remote collaboration and learning. Let me quickly summarize our cash position and capital return program. We ended the quarter with $141 billion in cash and marketable securities. We repaid $1 billion in maturing debt and decreased commercial paper by $8 billion, resulting in $97 billion in total debt. Therefore, net cash at the end of the quarter was $45 billion. During the quarter, we returned over $30 billion to shareholders. This included $3.9 billion in dividends and equivalents and $23.3 billion through open market repurchases of 100 million Apple shares. As usual, we will provide an update to our capital return program when we report results for the March quarter. As we move ahead into the March quarter, I'd like to review our outlook, which includes the types of forward-looking information that Suhasini referred to at the beginning of the call. The color we're providing today assumes that the macroeconomic outlook doesn't worsen from what we're projecting today for the current quarter. As the dollar has strengthened significantly, we expect foreign exchange to be a headwind and to have a negative impact on revenue of about 2.5 percentage points on a year-over-year basis. Despite that headwind, we expect our March quarter total company revenue to grow low to mid-single digits year over year. We expect services revenue to grow low double digits year over year. When you remove the negative impact of the foreign exchange headwinds I described earlier, the year-over-year growth rate would be comparable to that of the December quarter. We expect gross margin to be between 46.5% and 47.5%. We expect operating expenses to be between $15.1 billion and $15.3 billion. We expect OI&E to be around negative $300 million, excluding any potential impact from the mark-to-market of minority investments, and our tax rate to be around 16%. Finally, today our board of directors has declared a cash dividend of 25 cents per share of common stock payable on February 13th, 2025, to shareholders of record as of February 10th, 2025. With that, let's open the call to questions.
Thank you, Kevin. We ask that you limit yourself to 2 questions. Operator, may we have the first question, please?
Certainly. We will go ahead and take our first question from Eric Woodring with Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
Great, guys. Thanks so much for taking my questions. Tim, in your prepared remarks, you had noted that iPhone 16 models are selling better in markets where Apple Intelligence is available. And I'm just wondering if you could double click on that comment a bit and share any other details you believe could, better help us understand how Apple Intelligence is really impacting iPhone demand, and or what features you find that users are using most often already. And then I just have a quick follow-up. Thank you.
Yeah, Eric. Hi, it's Tim. We did see that the markets where we had rolled out Apple Intelligence, that the year-over-year performance on the iPhone 16 family was stronger than those where Apple Intelligence was not available. In terms of the features that people are using, they're using all of the ones that I'd referenced in my opening comments, from writing tools to image playground and Genmoji, to visual intelligence and more. And so we see all of those being used. The cleanup is another one that is popular, and people love seeing that one demoed in the stores as well. We only had two 2.5 weeks or so during the December quarter of the second release of 18.2. And then only had the UK and the other English language countries for the 2.5 weeks. And so we've got, just the early indications at the moment. But we were glad.
Okay, that's really helpful.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay. No, thank you for that color, Tim. It's helpful. And then, if we just touch on China, obviously in the news fairly frequently. If we set aside China macro, which I understand is still challenging, can you maybe talk about the headwinds that Apple faces, whether that's shifting preferences for Western technology brands in favor of domestic vendors, or is this just a function of not necessarily having Apple Intelligence available with the iPhone 16, which is not necessarily helping replacement cycles? Just maybe double clicking on what you think and what you're hearing in China as it relates to the iPhone. Thanks so much.
Yeah, sure. If you look at our Greater China revenue for the quarter, we were down 11%.
245.15. Apple decided to rip Tater Chip.
And over half of the decline that we experienced was driven by a change in channel inventory from the beginning to the end of the quarter. And of course, on the Apple Intelligence side, we have not rolled out in China. And as we just talked about, we did see better results in the markets that we had rolled out in than markets we hadn't rolled out in. And of course, it's the most competitive market in the world. And so all of those things are true. In terms of the macro situation, there was a fiscal stimulus or subsidy announced very recently in January that did not affect the December quarter. There were some provincial subsidies in the December quarter, but the national program was announced.
Going on the poll, hit that like and subscribe,
20th.
guys.
And it does cover the categories that we have products in, from smartphones to tablets and PCs and smartwatches, up to a maximum price point. And so we do see fiscal stimulus occurring, and we'll be glad to talk about what that looks like on the next call.
Great. Thanks so much, Tim. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Operator, can we have the next question, please?
Our next question is from Ben Reitzes with Melius. Please go ahead.
Hey, guys. Thanks a lot for the question. And hey, Tim, wanted to ask you, you knew this one was coming, but there's a perception that you're a big beneficiary of lower cost of compute. And I was wondering if you could give your worldly perspective here on the DeepSeek situation, and if you if anything's happened to change your views in terms of a tailwind to margins and your ability to execute, even due to the potential for costs to come down due to that development, and probably what was going to happen anyway. But I'd love your perspective on that, and then I have a quick follow-up. Thanks. Sure.
In general, I think innovation that drives efficiency is a good thing, and that's what you see in that model. Our tight integration of silicon and software, I think, will continue to serve us very well. As you know, we do things on the device and we do things in the private cloud, and which mimics from an architectural point of view what happens on device. And from a CapEx point of view, we've always taken a very prudent and deliberate approach to our expenditure, and we continue to leverage a hybrid model, which I think continues to serve us well.
Oh, great. All right. Thanks, Tim. And then, just with regard to, the iPhone trajectory, do you feel like, I guess, you obviously don't talk about new products and stuff like that, but do you feel that there's a lot of room for form factor innovation in the future, or do you feel that the that the current lineup kind of shows where you're going? I guess without pulling punches, wondering if you thought, in terms of the phone innovation, if there's a lot more to come, and you could see the kind of current market changing a bit over the next 2 to 3 years. Thanks.
I think there's a lot more to come, and I could not feel more optimistic about our product pipeline. So I think there's a lot of innovation left on the smartphone.
Thanks a lot, Tim.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Operator, could we have the next question, please?
Our next question is from Michael Ng with Goldman Sachs. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the question. I have two as well. First, it was encouraging to hear about the record for iPhone upgraders, which I think is something you haven't said for about a year now. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about what you would attribute this upgrade strength to. Has Apple Intelligence played a role in helping upgrades in the markets that you've launched in? Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for the question. If you look at iPhone, we did set an all-time record for upgraders, so we've never seen a higher level of upgraders before. The install base hit a new all-time high as well. And if you look at the 16 compared to the 15 from launch, which occurred, as you know, in September, so this is across now 2 quarters from September to the end of the December fiscal quarter, the 16 outperformed the 15. And so I think you can conclude from that there are compelling reasons to upgrade. And in the markets where we had launched Apple Intelligence, they outperformed the markets that we did not. So
Great. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, lots of good color there.
Great. Thank you, Tim. That's very clear. And then I had one about the iPad Pro M4, the thinner version. I was just wondering if you could talk about that thin form factor for the iPad Pro. How did it help iPad sales overall, and what did your kind of market and consumer research tell you about how consumers valued that thin product form factor? Thank you.
It's a good question. iPad overall grew 15% for the quarter, and it was more driven by iPad Air and the entry-level iPad than it was the top-level iPad. But overall, we could not be more pleased with the iPad category growing 15%. It's a great achievement for the quarter. And probably what is most important is that over half of the sales in the December quarter went to customers who were new to the iPad. So that tells us that there's a good amount of customers there to attract.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Operator, could we have the next question, please?
Our next question is from Amit Daryanani from Evercore. Please go ahead.
Yep. Good afternoon, everyone. I have two as well. Maybe to start with, you folks are seeing some very robust growth trends in emerging markets right now for Apple products. Can you just, at a high level, just talk about the durability of growth that you see in emerging markets? And then do you think the summation of these emerging markets are starting to get big enough or perhaps starting to grow fast enough that they can actually offset some of the China headwinds you're going through?
We have great results in a number of emerging markets. And as you know from past calls, I'm particularly keen on India. India set a December quarter record during the quarter. And we're opening more stores there. We've announced that we're going to open 4 new stores there. We also, the iPhone was the top-selling model in India for the quarter. And it's the second largest smartphone market in the world and the third largest for PCs and tablets. And so there's a huge market. And we have very modest share in these markets. And so I think there's lots of upside there. And that's just one of the emerging markets.
Yeah, Tim, maybe I'll add, Amit, then emerging markets, we're also seeing double-digit growth on the install base, both in total and for the iPhone as well. So that's also an encouraging sign.
I just
Perfect.
posted my
Thank you.
link
And then,
tree,
you know, I
guys.
guess
Hit that
just a
like and
question on
subscribe so
gross
you don't miss any
margin
other
for the
earnings.
March quarter. You folks are guiding gross margins flattish on a sequential basis. Typically, I think it tends to be guided up a little bit, 50 basis points, so sequentially. Can we just touch on, like, what are the offsets of the puts and takes you're seeing on gross margins? And, you know, Kevin, maybe you can just talk about, is FX having an outsized impact in your margin profile as well in March?
Yeah, so let me take that one. You know, as we mentioned in my remarks, we're guiding to 46.5% to 47.5%. So we think it's, you know, we're very pleased with that level of guidance. As you mentioned, there's always puts and takes. We do think there's going to be some FX headwinds, which we talked about, that's going to affect, you know, our revenue growth as well. You know, to have an impact here on the margin, a sequential impact on margins. But we think that's going to be offset by, you know, favorable costs and the relative mix of services. We also, as you know, when we move from Q1 to Q2, especially on the product side, because Q1 is such a large quarter for our products business, we do have, you know, a loss of leverage. So there are some puts and takes, and I think, you know, we feel good about the range. We think it's a very, very strong guide for gross margin.
Thanks, Amit. Operator, could we get the next question, please?
Our next question is from Wamsi Mohan with Bank of America. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. Tim, I want to follow up on your comment about channel inventory in China. I was wondering if you could maybe address more broadly if channel inventory across your different product lines and regions, do you feel they're elevated or out of range in any other regions? And given the clearing event that kind of happened in China, I guess, in the quarter, should we think of a more normal progression quarter on quarter into the March quarter in China in particular? And I will follow.
Yeah, I don't want to project sales for the current quarter by region, but if you look at the channel inventory and look at iPhone in the aggregate, so on a worldwide basis, we're very comfortable with our channel inventory position. In China, my point was that our channel inventory reduced from the beginning of the quarter to the end of the quarter, and that was over half of the reduction in the reported results. And so if you look, part of the reason for that is that our sales were a bit higher than we forecasted them to be toward the end of the quarter. And so we ended a little leaner than we had expected to.
Okay, that's very clear. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And then maybe as my follow-up, your services growth has been very strong, and I know you've kind of been navigating some pretty challenging regulatory burdens on the business globally. So how should investors think about maybe either a top line or margin headwind that, let's say, you're currently absorbing in your results that could potentially maybe reverse in a more balanced regulatory environment? Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I think one, I just wanted to kind of reiterate the fact that, you know, our services business had an all-time record for December quarter, up 14%, and that was one strength that we saw across all geographic segments, and also it was very broad based across all of our services. So we have, as you know, a very broad services portfolio, and so we do see, you know, good momentum across the board. And as well, you know, we continue to see, you know, increasing engagement across the customer base, across all of the service offerings, both transacting and paid accounts. We talked about, you know, reaching all-time highs, and we have over now 1 billion paid subscriptions, you know, across the services platform.
All right. Thanks, Wamsi. Operator, could we get the next question, please?
Our next question is from Samik Chatterjee with JP Morgan. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thanks for taking my question. questions. I guess for the first one, I mean, you had a great quarter on Macs and iPads both, and I'm just curious in terms of if you can help us think about the sustainability of this double-digit growth that you saw in both the product lines. And more interested also here, we are talking about Apple Intelligence sort of influencing volumes on iPhones, but any thoughts on sort of what does that influence look like in terms of volumes for Macs, for example, where I think there's a lot of conversation around AI PCs, how you're thinking about the impact there? And I have a quick follow-up. Thank you.
Yeah, if you look at Mac, Mac was up 16%, and on iPad we were up 15%. The Mac was driven by a very strong uptake on our new products during the quarter, and the continued success of the MacBook Air. And so, as you know, we launched an M4-based MacBook Pro, an iMac, and a Mac Mini during the quarter. We believe we've got the best AI PC out there for running workloads. The silicon in the Mac is and it has been for several years now, designed by us and really designed for these workloads. And so, but I don't want to project at the category level for the future, but we're incredibly pleased with both the Mac and the iPad for the quarter.
Okay. And Tim, I'm going to use your earlier discussion about India as a strong emerging market to sort of ask you about the supply chain planning there, in terms of how much of the supply chain planning there that you're doing is more of a reflection of the growth expectations from that market relative to in terms of more diversification of the supply chain, and how should we sort of think about that strategy relative to that particular country?
Yeah, if you look at the manufacturing we do there, we do manufacturing both for the domestic market and we export. And so in our business needs a certain economies of scale for it to make sense to manufacture in country. And so that really means that we're going to be both a use for the domestic market and an export market.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Samik. Operator, could we get the next question, please?
Our next question is from David Vogt with UBS. Please go ahead.
Great. Thanks, guys, for taking my question. So maybe, Tim, this is for you. I'm trying to think about your commentary around Apple Intelligence being sort of a momentum driver for the iPhone business. But when I think about your kind of framework for the March quarter, if I kind of adjust for channel inventory over the last couple of years, kind of feels like your iPhone revenue for the March quarter is going to be relatively similar to the quarter 2 years ago and even the quarter last year. So how do we square kind of the momentum versus kind of the iPhone business effectively really kind of unchanged over the last couple of years? And then second, when I think about kind of the gross margin profile of the business, obviously you've done a great job in taking gross margins up. Where do you think we sit in terms of, on the services side at least, where margins could go? It looks like, the 75% margin's been an incredibly successful quarter, but just trying to get a sense for where do you think this number could go over the intermediate term? Thank you.
Yeah, if you look at Apple Intelligence, what my point earlier was that markets where we had rolled out Apple Intelligence during the Q1 period performed better on a year-over-year basis than markets where we had not, and so that gives us it's a positive indicator that we were pleased with. There are many compelling reasons to upgrade. And the other thing I would say that I think I mentioned earlier is that if you look at it from a launch to the end of the December quarter, and so that goes back to September, the 16 family is outperforming the 15 family. And so I think those are two good data points. Our next round of language rollouts will be in April. And so it will be in our Q3 quarter. And I'll let Kevin take the gross margin question.
Yep, great. Hi, David. How are you? So on the services gross margin, I think maybe stepping back a second. Services business in general in aggregate is accretive to the overall company margin. And one of the things that's an important reminder is we have a very broad services portfolio, and those businesses have very different margin profiles. And so I think one, it's because of the nature of those businesses, and in part also because of the way we account for them. And so one of the big factors that drives the services gross margins is the relative performance of those different businesses within the portfolio. We also have the dynamic of some scale businesses like payment services, iCloud, that are actually growing. And there, when we add incremental users, those end up being, accretive to margins as well. And so in general, what we saw in the December quarter was nice momentum across our entire services business that allows us to deliver, that 75% margin at the services level. And I think our guidance takes into consideration, what we think we're going to land from a company standpoint at 46.5 to 47.5, which again we think is a strong guide.
Great, thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, David. Operator, could we have the next question, please?
Our next question is from Krish Sankar with TD Cowen. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my question. I also had two of them. The first one for Tim. You had very strong MAC growth, 16% year over year last quarter. Just wondering how much of that was driven by some of the MAC silicon innovation versus a replacement cycle for MACs?
I don't know the answer to your question precisely, but I think it is a combination of these products are so compelling. The M4-based products are so compelling that it's driving both upgrades at the double-digit level, and it's driving switchers at a double-digit level. And so we're seeing both come out, and I think it's just because of the compelling products.
Got it. Thanks to the Tim. And then a follow-up for Kevin on the gross margin. I want to ask you more on the product side. Last quarter you had 39.3%, which is very strong, similar to a year ago period. I'm kind of curious, how much more levels do you have on the product side to improve the gross margin, or do you think with some of the more new AI-related devices, there's more upside to gross margin from here on the product hardware side?
Yeah, thanks, Krish, for the question. So on the product side, as you mentioned, we had pretty strong sequential improvement, 300 basis points. For the December quarter, that was really driven by, we talked about favorable mix and leverage. As you know, in Q1, again, it's a launch quarter for many products, and so we tend to benefit from the leverage that we get from that higher volume. I would say in general, our gross margin for products is driven by a number of factors. One of them is the various product launches that we have. Different products do have different margin profiles, and so that mix does make a difference. And in particular, what we're seeing is, for example, many of our mixes across, like phone, for example, we're seeing customers gravitate towards our Pro products, because of things like affordability that allows our customers to get into our best products, which have favorable gross margins. So we're continuing to see that trend that impacted us in the December quarter as well. I think we're in a favorable commodity environment from a cost standpoint, and so we're benefiting from that as well in the December quarter. And then, that's going to be, as we talked about, we're going to have a foreign exchange headwind heading into the March quarter, but we figured, that's contemplated in the guidance range that we gave of the 46.5 to 47.5%.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Krish. Operator, could we get the next question, please?
Our next question is from Richard Kramer with Arete Research. Please go ahead.
Thanks very much. My first question is for Tim. I'd like to ask about what might accelerate the pace of Apple Intelligence adoption. I guess, do you see this simply as a question of time, i.e. to launch more markets and languages or increase the percentage of installed base devices that can support it? Or is it a question of money, i.e. shifting R&D or marketing spend towards AI and based on other prior Apple services, do you expect a sort of tipping point where adoption will go mainstream? Thanks.
I do believe it will go mainstream. I'm getting feedback from people using different features today. And this is, keep in mind that on the iPhone side of our business, you either have to have an iPhone 15 Pro or iPhone 16 to use Apple Intelligence. And so as that base grows, I think the usage will continue to grow. And I think I know from my own personal experience, once you start using the features, you can't imagine not using them anymore. I know I get hundreds of emails a day, and the summarization function is so important. So I think it's a combination of that. And of course, in April, we roll out a whole series of new languages that we had mentioned. And so the base grows further.
Okay, thank you. And then Kevin, one of Luca's legacies was really getting Apple to record margin levels and also maintaining very consistent pricing across the product range. But taking the current high levels of profitability as fairly stable, what observations might you share about price sensitivity of users and whether having a wider range of pricing across the products might unlock potentially further market share gains or boost overall product growth?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, one, I don't think we're going to really depart from what served us pretty well to now. I mean, we always take into consideration, looking at short-term trade, comparisons between short-term and the long-term. I think we've had a pretty disciplined pricing strategy, which would served us pretty well. And I think we're going to, continually kind of stick with that as far as I can tell.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Richard. Operator, could we get the next question, please?
Our next question is from Atif Malik with Citi. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for taking my question. How do you guys see the potential tariff impact to your products or consumer demand under Trump 2.0 you guys did find under Trump 1.0?
We are monitoring the situation and don't have anything more to add than that.
Great. And Tim, as a follow-up, there is a lot of discussion on agentic AI, the use of agents. Do you guys see the upgraded Siri expected in April as something that will, let's say, be the killer application among the suite of features that you have announced on Apple Intelligence?
I think the killer feature is different for different people. But I think for most, they're going to find that they're going to use many of the features every day. And certainly one of those is Siri, and that will be coming over the next several months.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Atif. Operator, could we please get the last question?
Our last question is from Ben
Last question,
Bollin
guys.
from
Hit that like and
Cleveland Research
subscribe.
Company. Please go ahead.
Enjoy the images from Grok.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for taking the question. Tim, I'm interested in your thoughts in how you would have us think about the average useful life of these devices in the wild. And in particular, curious if you look at the strength you saw in fiscal 21 and how that might support accelerated refresh opportunity into the future.
Yeah, Ben, I think it's different for different types of users. I mean, you have very early adopter kind of users that are very quick to jump on the latest technology that upgrade very frequently. And then you have people that are on the entire opposite side of that barbell. And most people are between those two points. And so I do think there were lots of units that are sold during the COVID period of time, and it's a huge opportunity for us as a company for more than one of the product categories.
That's it for me. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ben. I guess that's it. A replay of today's call will be available for 2 weeks on Apple Podcasts or as a webcast on apple.com/investor and via telephone. The number for the telephone replay
All right,
is
ladies and gentlemen, I
866
hope you loved it. I hope you liked it. I hope you hit that like and that subscribe because, baby, we are doing it right. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed all of the imagery that we brought up because it is just always fun, right? When you're listening to the earnings call, it's always fun to run through these. We had him with a sledgehammer smashing the apple, but it looks like we should have stuck with the Rockets because this baby rip tater chipped. We went from a closing of 237 all the way up to 245.25. You better believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We do meetings every single Wednesday. We get together, we talk about the leaders, we play the leaders. We also have strategies, process, and risk management. This is how we do it, baby. And we do it just for you. If you want to be a part of that, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, guys. We will see you very, very soon. We have, let's see, on Sunday. Sunday is our next live show. Make sure you are here for our live show. Yes, B. Stewie just made it as a moderator. He's our new moderator. Thank you so much, B. Stewie, for always being here, always helping, always doing the right thing. And of course, we are going to say our goodbyes to everybody. So thank you guys so much for being a part of this. This is a dream of mine. It honestly is, and I am so happy to have this amazing community. We'll see you guys very soon. Peace. The beefiest of Stu, thank you so much for being a huge part of this. Momentum Masters, I hope the shorts you did not eat. Yosef, thank you so much for being here. D-Nice FX, thank you, thank you, thank you. Jimmy Bright, dude, you're awesome, man. You are awesome, dude. I really appreciate you being here. We just got to give a shout out to Rebecca. If you're still with us, thank you so much. Zamora, as always, and an analogist. I trip over that word, but thank you so much for being here. I hope you stick with us. Troy Wiseman, as always, I appreciate you being here. Keith Stone, you never answered my question. I hope you were in Root. We talked about Root. I gave you Root as a beautiful setup. Sarah Sosa, as always, thank you so much for being here. Joe, Just Joe, thank you so much. Smaid, thank you for showing up, stopping by, saying hello. Let's see who else we got. I think that covers everybody. I see you guys smashing the love. I see you smashing the like. Thank you guys so much for being a huge part of this growing dream of mine. Take care, guys. Nothing but love. We'll see you on Sunday.